You know you can't cash this.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Singer Brent Payne and sound tech Paul Pierce are suing Rob Almanza for failing to pay for a performance at a benefit.
Order. All rise. Your Honor, this is case number 384 on the calendar in the matter of Payne Pierce versus Almanza. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
You're Mr.?
I'm Mr. Pierce.
Who was related to him through marriage? You're Mr. Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
And the defendant is your son's father-in-law.
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you?
I'm Sheena Almanza. Payne.
Where's your husband?
He's not here.
Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm disabled.
Tell me what you do with these charity events.
Well, my charity is called Lone Rider Charities. I'm the one that is the only one. About 6 years ago, I designed a coin. I came up with this ideal that I wanted to have a special way of thanking our veterans. So I just designed it, and I started having it made, and I've now officers and firemen.
You sell these or trade them for money?
Absolutely not.
Well, what do you do with the coins?
When I see a veteran, I go up to them and I present myself. I let them know that I do this in memory of my father, and I have a special way to thank them, and then they usually...
Who pays for the coins?
Basically, most of the time I do with donations.
That's what I'm talking about. Look, this is about their lawsuit. One of them was supposed to sing. Who was the singer? That would be you, Mr. Payne.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pierce was his sound guy. You were doing a concert for charity. Their lawsuit is that you promised that you would pay them a nominal amount, but that you would pay them. And after the concert, who saw him riding off on his motorcycle?
We didn't see him. When we came looking for him at the end of the event, he was gone already. So,
how did he get to the event?
On a motorcycle.
Who was riding the motorcycle?
I saw him actually ride the motorcycle into the parking lot.
And the nature of your disability is?
I ended up getting anxiety and depression.
How long have you been on disability?
I think maybe about 2 months now.
Prior to that, what did you do?
I'm in sheet metal, structural steel, like a manager, supervisor.
How old are you?
58.
So you planned this concert, and when was the concert supposed to take place?
September 24th.
How many concerts?
Did that, trying
Is
to
that
do
what
a
he told
benefit
you?
concert.
Yes, that is correct.
And did you take a venue?
Yes, I found the venue.
What was the venue?
They're called the Depot. It's like a bar and restaurant.
Did you have to rent it?
No, the owner and me have a relationship. He's a veteran. He's one of the veterans I
Just
thank.
answer my question. Did you have to rent it, or they donated it to you?
No.
Did you advertise the event?
Yes.
How?
We had flyers made, and...
Who had flyers made?
Me and Mr. Payne.
Who paid for it?
His girlfriend at the time did that out of her heart. She just made us our flyers.
How else did you advertise the event?
When I go around doing my veteran thing, I go to American Legions, VFWs, just everywhere. And as I did that, I handed out my flyers and let them know that I was having a benefit concert.
How much were the patrons charged to go to the concert?
There was a $20 charge for the event.
And then a cash bar?
Yes.
How many people did the restaurant bar hold?
Their total, I believe, was 350.
How many people showed up?
In the vicinity of right around 55 people.
What was your arrangement to pay the plaintiffs?
I was hoping a lot of people were going to show up, and I was going to pay them out of, the revenue from the gate as they came in.
Well, 55 people did show up.
Yes.
So there was some money.
Them paid. Around 20 to 25 got let in free.
By whom?
Actually, it would be me. Because
that was nice. That was nice of you.
Well, when they came in...
How were you supposed to pay the plaintiffs?
Well, actually, it was due to the plaintiff. When they came in, they said that, no, we're here to present Brent Payne with a guitar or something like that. And they said, no, we were told we didn't have to pay. We're here just to do this presentation to him. So they showed up, and I was actually taken off guard, and
how much was he supposed to pay you?
His charge was $1,500 for the band. My charge was $900 for staging, sound, and lighting.
Did you discuss that with the defendant?
Yes, in advance.
When?
He first contacted me on the 19th.
Of what?
19th of September, I'm sorry. 4 days or 5 days before the event, so it was very last minute he contacted me. When he told me he was associated with Mr. Payne, I'd worked with Brent in the past, and I thought, okay, he's above board. So I gave him a great deal, and we
Well,
made
what
it-
was the great deal? No, what I'm asking you.
I'm sorry?
You clearly weren't busy 4 days in
That's true.
advance. So what was the great deal? I thought from reading these papers that this was really, you were doing it partially for charity and partially for him. So what's your normal rate to
Yeah,
set
for
up?
something like this event, for all the equipment would have been close to $3,000 for staging.
Actually do all the staging, all the lighting, as if there were going to be 350 people.
Everything as scheduled.
And you, sir, tell me about your discussion with the defendant about money.
The early part of 2016, he had come to me to ask if I would be interested in doing a benefit concert for the
How many people in your band?
6.
So you were actually making a couple of $100s a piece for the evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you set the figure of $1,500 or did he?
No, I did. He asked me what I would do it for, and I said 15.
And what did he say to you?
He said, really?
He said, really?
Yes.
And then what happened?
Then we started talking about, he asked me, well, what would it take? What would the next steps be? What do you need? And I said, well, we need a venue. And he told me about the Corona Depot. And I said, well, how many does it hold? And he said, between 200 and 300. I said, that'd be a good intimate crowd if we could get that many people in there. And then I told him about stage lighting, sound reinforcement.
But he didn't do anything about that until 4 days before. Did you discuss that with him?
At that time?
No, later on, as you got closer. You said the beginning of 2016.
It was mentioned throughout the course of the few months.
Why did you wait until the end to get somebody to do this lighting and sound?
Your Honor, it wasn't mentioned early. It was mentioned a week before when we had the flyers made. And I was doing this as best I could, and I had one band scheduled with Brent, and as he saw the flyer, and he was like, I always play in front of 2 bands. He goes, you have to get another band. So at the same time, he also said, hey, and how's the staging coming? How's the lighting? And I'm like, I don't have any of that. I go, everything else is done, but you want an extra band? He goes, yes. He goes, I always play in front of 2 bands. So I started scrambling around to try to find another band in less than 5 days, and then I also had to scramble around and find a staging because the other bands didn't need lighting. They didn't need staging. It was a benefit concert. They were happy to play on the open ground that they had.
I don't know what they were happy to do, sir. You owe them so far $2,400.
Correct.
So why didn't you pay them?
Because I was depending on the benefit concert for the people showing up. I was using the proceeds to pay everybody.
Yeah, but that was not part of your discussion with them.
Yes, they knew that.
No, don't tell me what they knew. I didn't hear that that was part of the discussion.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I am very new at what I was trying to accomplish.
I think that if you want to engage in charitable work while you're on disability, you should stick with something that you know, not something that you don't know.
I agree.
Good.
And later today,
It's an awful job. I would actually be embarrassed for you to say that this was completed work.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Singer Brent Payne and sound tech Paul Pierce claim Rob Almanza never paid them for a benefit performance.
Now, I heard that he told you what his fee was for the lighting 4 days before. He doesn't know you from a hole in the wall, and he gave you a fee, a quote of $900. And you had discussed previously with the co-plaintiff $1,500 for the 6 members of his band. And I didn't hear any caveat that said, but you don't get anything unless we have a certain number of people.
No, I did not. I mean, you know, I guess I am very new at what I was trying to accomplish. And they knew that, and I know they knew, because one of them, and as far as Paul on the stage, he asked for a check. I did give him a check, and I have a text in it where I'm stating to him, because he goes, I told him, I go, you know, you can't cash this. I can hand you a check, but the proceeds will come in as the concert, and then I'll go to the bank, put the money in the bank, and then you will be able to cash that check. But it's only if the proceeds come in.
Did he say that to you?
Nope. To him, I needed to be paid in full before I loaded in because I'm not going to go through the trouble.
Fine. And what did he say to you?
I said, I'll accept a personal check on the day of the event, and if you have enough cash, you can give me cash and I'll give your check back.
I have the text right here. if
I'd
you'd
like to see
look
it.
at
The text, by the way, came Monday after the event that he said your check is not good.
Just a
No,
second.
you can look at the date on it. It's right there.
I see what it says. It's perfectly clear. I hope you'll be okay with this. I can write you a check at noon, but the money for this function won't be in the bank until Monday. If you want, I can pay you in cash before you leave that night. Please let me know what you think on this matter, Paul. How about if you write me a check? No, that's not clear to me, sir. That's not clear to me. And I think that if you want to engage in charitable work while you're on disability, you should stick with something that you know, not something that you don't know.
I agree.
Good. Right now, you owe him $2,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I wish, you know, that someone that is actually part family would have worked with me on this instead of us being here in court.
He should have never came now if he would have just communicated with us.
I'm going to continue to thank our veterans, our police officers and firemen for their service to the country.
There's more happiness in giving than there is in receiving.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of
Signs is suing handyman Christopher Perez for a poor paint job on her condo.
Miss Sines, you hired the defendant to paint your condo. You went out of town. He painted your condo. You had paid him. Now you want your money back because you were not satisfied with his job.
Not that I wasn't satisfied. He actually didn't finish the job, and he also lied to me and swindled that money out of me. While I was away, he got my mom...
Just a second. You want your money back.
Yes.
Mr. Perez says that when you actually came home, you looked at the work that he had done. Stand up. You looked at the work that he had done and you were satisfied. There were a couple of touch-ups that he said that you pointed out to him. He was more than happy to accommodate. He said, but then your father got sort of involved with the process, and he told your father to put Post-its on things that he wanted finished in a different way. And instead, what your father did was take a black pencil and make circles around the entire condo, which would have necessitated him repainting the entire place. Is that... Shh. That's your defense.
Yes, ma'am.
I see you have no evidence, Mr. Perez. It would seem to me that if there was an issue, you would have taken some photographs of the work that you did.
The reason I didn't, I was just upset with the way the matters were going. So
well, then I would have taken photographs job appropriately. How big was the condo that you painted?
Probably like 1,300 square feet.
And when did you take on the job?
When she took off to Bali for vacation.
1st.
August 1st. I was recommended from a friend because I was going to do just painting. And what happened was the mom requested doing a texture on the walls, which is very difficult to do.
Just a second.
Yes.
When you spoke to the plaintiff,
yes,
you arranged with her to paint the condo.
Yeah, we were just do painting.
August.
Yes.
And how much money did she give you?
The job was for, I believe, $3,600, and she gave me $3,200.
Now, who did you speak to about putting texture on the walls?
It was the mom's idea to do all the smooth coating.
Was that after the plaintiff had gone on her trip?
No, we were all together.
And this is something that's difficult to do, texturizing the walls.
Yes, smooth coating is a very difficult thing. Oh, okay.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
Had you ever done that before?
Yes.
How many times?
Probably 6 or 7 times. This is something I don't do all the time, but I can do it. And I had another person helping me that was trained in that field.
Do you have photographs of the house?
Yes, I do. So you could see the poor paint job he's done, and you'll see that things weren't smooth.
May I just look at it?
That's the cabinets. He was also hired to paint the cabinets. I actually have the contract if you'd like to see it.
I would.
This is the first contract. And this will show you the payments at the top.
Is this after he finished the job?
Yes.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. Perez, if this is what it looked like when you finished, it's an awful job.
Those are the outlets, I believe.
Just a second.
Okay.
It's an awful job.
Okay. I wasn't done.
I would actually be embarrassed for you to say that this was completed work.
It wasn't completed work. That's why I was trying to
Then why didn't you
fix it.
come back?
No. Don't speak to him.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She gave me $1,200, and I told her, hold on to $400. If there's any mistakes, anything you see, let me know, and I'll make corrections.
That's a lie.
So
If you say another word, I'm dismissing your case. Do you understand?
Yes.
Now it's clear.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janelle Sines says handyman Christopher Perez botched the painting of her condo.
Now, what do you mean it wasn't completed work?
Well, after she came back from Bali, she gave me $1,200, and I told her, hold on to $400. If there's any mistakes, anything you see, let me know, and I'll make
your case. Do you understand
Yes.
that? Now it's clear. You may have a legitimate case, but if you interrupt him, I'm going to dismiss your case. We don't do that. Go.
So I told her, I go, just if there's anything you need to do or see that's wrong, I'll make corrections. She said, okay, there are some areas that are, in the rooms that need to be touched up, so I did. So I came back the next day, patched everything, and repainted the whole apartment again. And then she was still, I guess.
What do you mean you painted the whole apartment again?
I patched everything, and I just painted the whole apartment, everything.
Well, that means that you did a miserable job the first time.
Well, I had to cover all the patch marks that I did.
Mr. Perez, this is terrible work.
That's a vent.
I don't care what it is. I have cabinets, I have vents. It's terrible work.
I wasn't finished. She wouldn't let me finish. I came back 3 or 4 times, and then when her father got involved, that's when everything went bad because he started writing on all the walls, and I wasn't able to get a chance to finish. I came back the next day with the guy, and we started floating all over everything again, and she just started talking to me,
Would you stand up, please, sir? Did you put these black marks all over the walls?
Yes, I did, because through the whole ceilings, walls, it was all jagged.
Well, I have to tell you, I think that that's sort of outrageous. I mean, I've had painting done, and if something is aggressive.
I'm sorry?
This is aggressive. My opinion, and my opinion here is the only one that counts, this kind of acting out is aggressive behavior.
The reason for that, Honor, is because it was in large areas, and you couldn't see it.
Then put a post-it and say large area. Because in order to cover that up, that may not take one coat to cover up your aggressive behavior. That may take more than one.
That was primer that what they had put on. It wasn't actual finished.
No, it was painted,
Well,
finished painting.
just a second. If it was primer, then he wasn't finished yet.
He claimed he was. I'm so sorry.
If it was primer, then he wasn't finished yet. I think you did a terrible job, Mr. Perez, and I would never use him again.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, did you hire someone else to repaint? The answer is either yes or no.
No, I personally did not.
Did anyone pay someone to repaint?
Yes, my father did.
Who did you pay? And I'd like to see the bill. So you paid someone $450?
Correct.
Fine. And how much did you pay Mr. Perez?
I paid him $3,350.
And after this lake came and did the work that he did, how does the condo look?
The work that my dad and him did looks great.
No, I'm not talking about your dad and him. I'm talking about this paid bill for $450.
It looks great.
Great. Fine. You're entitled to have a great-looking apartment for $3,350. You owe her $450.
Wait, Your Honor, can I speak?
You can do whatever you like.
It's not done. They only did the living room. I still have bathrooms.
Then you shouldn't have brought your case yet.
What do you mean?
Then you should have waited until the job was completed.
I didn't know I had given him
He's-
so much money. My mom had paid him while I was in Bali.
$450. Then start communicating better with your parents. We're done here. Thank you.
Parties are excused. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I feel like he wasn't putting as much effort as he should have been while he was doing the work.
Let me stay here, and I'll work 24/7, and that's what I did. I put in 16, 18 hours.
He swindled me for more money.
You wanted a particular kind of cat. You found the defendant who was a breeder.
She went cross-country for the perfect kitty.
Which cat had you agreed to purchase when you traveled to Minnesota?
One of the females.
Is that correct?
No, it is not.
I know that that's a bone of contention in here.
Or was it all a sick trick?
The female was not available
Why was she not available?
because she had a cold.
What you're saying to me doesn't make sense.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Blair Booter is suing cat breeder Rebecca Ansari for breach of contract regarding the sale of a cat, vet bills, and fraud.
Order. All rise. Case number 371 on the calendar, the matter of Buddha versus Ansari.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Have a seat, please.
Miss Buddha, you wanted a particular kind of cat.
Correct.
It's called a...
Devon Rex.
Have you had that breed before?
I did, growing up as a child.
And I assume trolling on the internet, you found the defendant who was a breeder.
Correct. Minnesota, Minneapolis.
How long have you been breeding these Devon Rex cats?
17 years, Your Honor.
And did you see the litter of kittens that the defendant had?
Prior to traveling there?
Yes.
She sent me pictures, correct.
Okay. And how many kittens were in the litter?
There were 3.
Boys and girls?
There were 2 girls and 1 boy, I believe.
And which cat had you agreed to purchase when you traveled to Minnesota?
One of the females.
Is that correct?
No, it is not.
You say no, she did not. What kitten did she want?
She wanted the female, but the female was not available. The pictures I sent her were of the male. I have them, and her response of, are these the pictures of the male or female?
Can I see that?
Certainly.
When you say the female was not available, why was she not available?
Because she had a cold. Therefore, I would not offer her.
Well, if a kitten has a cold, that doesn't last forever. That lasts a week, that lasts 2 weeks.
I don't try and predict the future, Your Honor. I've learned that's not something I'm good at.
Well, I am. I am actually. If a cat has a cold for more than 2 weeks, it's not a cold. I mean, if that's the reason that you're giving me, that the cat was not available because she had a cold, and if she wanted a female cat, then she would have waited until the cold was over. I mean, what you're saying to me doesn't make sense.
Okay, there's a number of bacterial and viral diseases that all present all the same. They are lumped together under the heading of upper respiratory infection. You cannot tell which one it is until the veterinarian goes through and treats it.
Well, I would like to see any conversation you had over the internet where you told her that the female was not available.
Well, the phone call is where we talked about that, and then I sent her the pictures of the one that was available so I can come close.
I would like to see an email where she tells you she wants the female. You say to her the female is not available. You have that?
No.
Did she discuss the female cat with you at all before you flew from California to Minnesota?
She only discussed that it was available for purchase, but her sister was not available because she wished to keep her for breeding purposes.
So one female was available?
Correct.
And one female was not because she was going to keep one?
Yes.
Do you have the other female from the litter?
Yes, I do.
That you kept for breeding?
Yes, I do. Here it is. The next few pages show the pictures you're asking for.
Great. Well, is this the cat that you bought?
It could have been her brother. Those are the pictures of the male that was in question.
Oh, well, this says quite clearly, thank you for sending the picture, because you said, I feel uncomfortable about traveling without seeing a picture of the cat.
Correct.
And you say to her, thank you, beautiful. Is that the girl or the boy? I appreciate it so much. She says the boy. And you say he looks for the female kitten. You were going for the boy. Because you say to her, I'm having a bit of a hard time reconciling myself to get a kitty that I haven't seen. So she sends you a picture of the boy, and you said, I love him. He's beautiful. You have anything to show me that suggests that before you went out there, you changed your mind and wanted the girl?
I had always wanted the girl.
No. That's not what this says.
By my comment to the photo, it was acknowledging that it was a good-looking cat.
No, that's not what this acknowledges. I bought enough cats and dogs like this to know that that's not what you're acknowledging here. You say, I want to see the picture of the kitty that I'm traveling to see. She sends you a picture of the male. You specifically ask her, is that the boy or the girl? She says it's the boy. You say, oh, he's beautiful. So I don't believe you that you went there for the female cat. I know you have to be careful, because I read your complaint and I read her answer. So let's keep it truthful, because if you're not going to be truthful with me, I'm not going to believe anything that you say to me. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. So you went there, and the intention was to buy the boy, because that's the only picture that she sent you.
No, it's not the only picture she sent me.
Show me a picture of the female that she sent you.
I didn't print out the kitten picture.
So the answer is you don't have it. She has evidence. This is evidence.
I never expressed the intention.
I don't care what you expected. That's the evidence that I have before me. And I want you to be aware of the fact that I now believe that you traveled from California to Minnesota to pick up the male kitten. And when you got there, you want to tell me what happened.
So she picked me up from the airport and brought me to her home, where she had all of her cats around the house. And she wanted me to get to know several of the cats to try to decide which to purchase.
So I got to be around her cats for a while, and after coming back from dinner, she suggested that perhaps some of them could spend the night with me, and so I could get a better feel for their personalities. And in the morning, she still said...
Just a second. Did you take any of them back to your
Yes.
hotel? How many?
Well, I stayed in her home.
That was nice. So you stayed in her home around the kittens.
Yes.
And?
And I stayed the night with our current female and her brother, so the two within the litter, as well as one older white one that was for sale.
And?
And in the morning, she said, well, have you decided? And I said, yeah, I would like to purchase the female. And she said, okay, great. Let me get her ready for travel. And so she cleaned her ears, she trimmed her nails, and she said, oh, by the way, it has a little bit of a teary eye. Here's some antibiotic salve. That should take care of it. No problem. She gave no sort of indication that it could potentially be a chronic issue.
So why didn't you take the boy?
Because she led me to believe that it would...
It's not going to happen for you. You went there with a view towards taking the male cat. Now you get there and you decide you want the female. She told you that something was wrong with the female cat. You elected to take the female cat anyway. Where you were going there for the boy, that's clear. You elected to take a cat that you knew something was wrong with. And it wasn't as if you were taking it from Los Angeles to Venice Beach. You were going from California to Minnesota. So that's a big risk. And it's not that I haven't purchased cats before. So I understand that. Sometimes you fall in love and you say, oh, but I'm in love with it and I can take care of it. But there's something not smart about taking an animal halfway across the country that you know there's something wrong with when you have a perfectly healthy cat that you actually went there to purchase.
I asked her if I could reserve the female cat prior to traveling out there. And
Show
she
me.
said, sure.
Just a second. Show me that.
On the first page.
Just a minute. This is February 22nd at 11:59 a.m. This is dated February 27th, 5 days later, at 5:50 p.m. So 5 days later, you still...
The male.
Okay. You want to give her back the cat? She'll give you back your money?
No, we're attached to the cat
Just a
at this
second.
point.
You're attached to the cat. Well, then you can keep the cat and not get your money back. Now, one of the things that you are suing her for is you're suing her because she didn't give you the papers for the cat. Okay, you have the CFA papers for the cat?
No, I have ACFA papers for the cat.
A.
Yes.
May I see them?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that for her?
Yes, it can be.
It's what?
It can be. I didn't know which way it was going to go.
Okay, that's the way it's going. It's her cat. She doesn't want to give back the cat. She loves the cat. She wants the papers. She had to take care of the cat. It turned out to be more than a cold in the cat's eye. She shouldn't have taken the cat from Minnesota back to California. She should have taken that nice little blue boy. Okay, would you give that to her? Now you have a countersuit, Miss Ansari. Your claim is that the plaintiff posted defamatory things about you on the internet. I'd like to see what they were.
I don't see the paragraph that's supposed to go with that, but that's the result, the C.
I don't know what this is.
Better Business Bureau, the
Yes.
rating dropped to a C because of what was submitted.
Well, I
and
didn't see what was submitted. It was her review of what her experience was. She's allowed to do that.
She received a C rating because she failed to respond to the complaint.
I don't know why she received this rating, and you can't tell me that unless you have someone from the Better Business Bureau or unless you can confirm that in a writing from the Better Business Bureau. Can you?
No.
Okay, fine. Do you have what she wrote?
It looks like that may have been weeded out, Your Honor.
Okay.
My
fine.
apologies.
Fine. She now has papers for the cat. This case is over. Everybody's happy. You have the cat that you like, and you have no trouble anymore. Got it?
Thank you, Your Honor.
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I tried to make a wonderful experience for someone brand new to this.
It's been very stressful. It's hard to see her suffering every day.
Found airfare, stayed in my home, chauffeured.
Because we're constantly having to wipe her eye.
Provided a $35 tube of medication.
So it's been very, very frustrating.
And what I get is being attacked.
Have a veterinarian check the animal first.
I shouldn't have been accommodating.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Perricone versus Bradshaw. Step forward.
Richard Perricone is suing his niece, Nicole Bradshaw, for misappropriating funds meant for the care of his mother.
Mr. Perricone, The defendant is your mother's granddaughter.
Yes.
Is she your brother's child? Is your mother?
96.
Unfortunately, this is what the case is about. There was a period of time when the defendant was responsible for your mother, for her physical care.
Right.
You were living in a different state. She was living in the same city and state as your mother. And for a while, your mother was living in her house. Mother got sick. She went to the hospital. She subsequently came out of the hospital, went to a facility. It is your claim that during a brief period of time when Ms. Bradshaw was responsible for your mother, she misappropriated funds that were your mother's.
Yes, ma'am.
Between what period of time and what period of time?
It's probably when she got out of the hospital in January.
January what?
The 16th.
Until what date?
I think it was November 20th. I went up to North Carolina and took my mother out.
Took your mother out of where?
The assisted living facility that we put her in.
I'll get to you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Perricone?
I'm retired, ma'am.
So you don't do anything?
No.
Is there any reason that you can tell me why you didn't go and see your mother while she was in the hospital? And to celebrate her 95th birthday, that would seem to be an appropriate thing for a child to do.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Richard Perricone says his niece, Nicole Bradshaw, misappropriated funds.
Assisted living facility that your mother was in what city and state?
It was in Nashville, North Carolina.
And in what city and state were you living?
I was living in Jacksonville, Florida.
Between January 16th and November 28th, how many visits did you make to Nashville, North Carolina to see your mother?
None.
Ms. Bradshaw, between January 16th and November 28th, were you living in Nashville, North Carolina?
No, Your Honor. I was living in Rocky Mount. It was 7 miles away.
But you were in North Carolina?
Yes, ma'am.
And the facility that your grandmother was in was what facility?
In the time my grandmother left the hospital, she was first located to a rehab facility. So there was a gap between when she left my home and when she went into the assisted living facility.
Okay, so first she went into the hospital.
Yes, ma'am.
What was the nature of her hospitalization?
My grandmother got the flu, a very, very, very bad case of the flu.
Okay, she was 94 at the time.
95 at the time, ma'am.
95.
Yes, ma'am.
How long was she hospitalized?
It was a little bit after Christmas, I would say about December 28th until January 16th. And then she was moved into the facility. We celebrated her 96th birthday in the rehab. So she was there for quite some time.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Perricone?
I'm retired, ma'am.
So you don't do anything?
No.
Great. Is there any reason that you can tell me why you didn't go and see your mother while she was in the hospital?
Well,
how old is your daughter?
My daughter's 22. She's disabled.
Who else lives with you?
My wife.
And then your wife can take care of your daughter so that you can go see your
My
mother
wife was
once.
working.
Once in 8 months. And to celebrate her 95th birthday. That would seem to be an appropriate thing for a child to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, during the time that your mother was not living in your state, you were not physically responsible for her, and you did not visit her, what kind of misappropriation of money are you alleging?
Well, I told Nicole that I would give Nicole my mother's Social Security and my father's VA pension, which amounted to $2,250, and she could have that as long as she took care of my mom.
So?
And from what I understand from my mom...
No, you can't tell me what you understand from your mother.
Nicole and I spoke on the phone numerous times about what my mother wanted and what she needed to have for her. She enjoyed certain things. And Nicole would complain to me, I don't have time to go get these things, all right? And your mother doesn't need all these things. She's in the facility. And I said, well, for $2,250, you should make a point to get her.
Just a second. Let's figure out first, how much was the facility?
$1,850.
So we're not talking about $2,250. We're talking about $400.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
In the beginning, I went quite often, 5 days a week.
And then?
And then my grandmother continued to tell me.
Okay, give me an idea of what you used that other money for.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Richard Perricone says his niece, Nicole Bradshaw, misappropriated funds meant for the care of his mother.
Now, the facility, which you paid for, I assume you paid for.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am.
Was $1,850. Then we're talking about $400 that you think this young lady owes your mother because she didn't get her the things that she wanted or misappropriated that $400 over a period of time.
Right.
Show me.
I can't show. I don't know what she did with the money.
How often did you visit your grandmother?
In the beginning, I went quite often, 5 days a week.
And then?
And then my grandmother continued to tell my uncle that I wasn't providing her the things that she needed. I was babysitting at the time. I'm a stay-at-home mom of 2 children, and the time dwindled.
Whatever. So in the beginning, it was okay, and then it got to be a little too much.
Once she got acclimated and made friends there, my time got back some.
Okay. Give me an idea of what you used that other money for.
My grandmother had a phone in her room. I added her phone to my internet package. It was a bundle. The bill was $100 a month. I paid that together. My grandmother enjoyed club crackers, which she hadn't loved ginger ale. She drank Boost and Ensure every single day. She had twice. Ice cream, decaffeinated coffee.
Okay. Listen to me. When you decided to move your mother to Florida,
Yes, ma'am.
Where is she currently living?
She's living in Florida, St. Augustine, about 20 miles from me.
No.
Just how many miles from you?
About 20.
Go ahead.
I actually Googled the distance between the facility and where he lives, and it's over an hour. St. Augustine from Jacksonville is
Just
an
a second.
hour.
Give me the name of the facility.
Silver Lake Retirement,
And how much is it a month?
$2,350.
Yes.
I called. It's $1,900.
If I was going to call Silver Lake, how much would they tell me it is?
The facility is $1,995, $300 for services. Services comes in a different category for people that really...
Fine. So she's spending, according to you, $2,350. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me why you moved your mother over an hour away?
It was the closest facility I could find in Jacksonville. That was the brand new facility. That's why I put her in there.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you in a family dispute? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, does your mother have any money other than this 22 in her insurance?
Oh, yes, definitely.
How often do you go there since November 28th?
3 times a week.
Great. Okay. Now, Mr. Pericone, I think that what you did is you went down. Now she's your responsibility. Miss Bradshaw maybe cut off a little bit more than she could chew when she took over taking care of an elderly lady with some illnesses. But I'm not getting involved in how she spent and what she used with the additional couple of bucks that she had as a result of being a short-term payee. She took care of your mother. For that, you should pay her. It's not her responsibility to take care of your mother. Legally, it's not your responsibility to take care of your mother. But between you and a grandchild, it's your responsibility to take care of your mother. And instead of suing her, you should say, look at me. Thank you.
No,
We're done here.
Sorry.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
She wanted a little more attention from me than I can give her, so she would tell my uncle that she was out of something.
When I speak to her on the phone, I says, Mom, is Nicole buying you your Boost? Is your ginger ale?
After I had just dropped it off, and I would go to the store and bring it up there, and she had mountains of the stuff there.
She says, no, Nicole comes in here and tells me, you don't need to drink ginger ale. You don't need to have the stuff she claims she did.
She's just old and lonely.
Well, if you're going to have a family member help them out, you got to make sure you have it in writing, like you do anybody else.
My uncle was all I had. He was a father figure to me, and him turning on me the way that he did was gut-wrenching.
You think you could trust family, but in this case, you really can't. She just abused my mother mentally and financially.
And I believe that maybe one day he'll see it from my point of view and maybe forgive me, and that's the most important thing.
It is your claim. The place was robbed. You actually think Miss Frazier stole all that property.
Yes.
A renter who pulled an inside job.
I called Betty and I was like, why'd you take my stuff?
Doesn't look to me as if she can carry away a whole bunch of property.
She had 3 other people.
Or landlords looking to fleece a tenant.
Her girlfriend started texting really nasty texts saying she needed more money, probably for drugs.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Betty Frazier is suing her former roommate, Kathy Anderson, and her friend Terry Worley for stealing her belongings and making threats.
Yes, case number 354 on the calendar in the matter of Frazier versus Anderson Worley.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Frazier, you were renting a room, according to your complaint, from one of the defendants.
I'm Betty.
I know. You're Miss Frazier. Mm-hmm. You were renting a room from which one of you? And your last name is?
Anderson.
From Miss Anderson. Miss Anderson, how did you find the plaintiff as a roommate?
I've known her for a while, and she went in and had surgery done, and she had nobody to take care of her after the surgery. So I volunteered her to come to my home until she got better.
Do you work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I'm a massage therapist.
Miss Frazier, and how do you support yourself?
I have Social Security.
How long have you known Miss Anderson?
A couple of years, but our
Where
kids
did you
went
meet
to
her?
school together.
Where did you meet her?
Actually, in Pollock Pines a few years back.
When did you begin renting a room from them?
The end of May.
And how much was your rent?
$300 and half the utilities.
At some point in June, you were leaving. You were going out of town for a while.
Yes.
And according to you, you left the rent. You went to the bank and you took out cash.
Yes.
Are you okay? Do you want to sit down?
I have my witness here that can testify for that.
About what?
About leaving the rent money.
Who's your witness?
Crystal.
How is she related to you?
She's not. She just gave me a ride to go get the money, and she witnessed me putting it in the envelope on the sink.
Your last name?
Crystal Encinas.
How do you know?
My mom's her in-home service worker. She's the one that does caregiving for her. My mom was unable to take her that day. I was able to get off work, and I took her around 6:30. It was June 3rd, right before she was leaving. We went to Safeway and took her to the ATM so she could pull some money out, and then we went to Safeway. And she's unable to carry groceries in, so I took in water and put it on the counter, and as she was doing that, she said, oh, let me remember to put the rent, and I saw her put in a pink envelope and put it on the counter next to the water, and then I left. At the residence that she was living with, Kathy.
So you just left her. She says, I have to leave rent money.
Yeah, she said, I'm going to leave this, because I reminded her, I said, you know, don't forget to leave it on the counter, because she was leaving the next day with her mom. And that's kind of what my mom does, or with her daughter, excuse me, to fly out, because her sister had passed away. And so I left after I made sure that...
Okay, now, at some point, it is your claim, Miss Anderson, that the place was ransacked and robbed. And was that when your property was taken, as well as Miss Frazier's?
Yes.
During that robbery?
Yes.
You actually think Miss Frazier was the one who stole all that property?
Yes.
Doesn't look to me as if she can carry away a whole bunch of property.
She had 3 other men that came to the house.
Who saw that?
Her daughter told my son.
Did you have a conversation with her daughter?
Yes, I did.
What's her daughter's name?
Kathy?
What's your daughter's phone number?
530-88.
Do you know if that's her phone number?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Tell me your last name.
Gertz?
Mr. Gertz, when did you have this conversation with her daughter, Kathy?
I don't know the date.
Was that after the apartment, the Anderson apartment, was robbed?
Yes.
What made you call Kathy?
I didn't call her. She called me, and she wanted to thank me for a game that I gave her. And I was like, what game? And she goes, sprint car video game. And I told her I didn't leave no game there. And she goes, well, there's a game here that you left me. And I was like, no. And she goes, well, there's some other things also that I think might be yours. That's when she told me about the items that were taken from the house.
Well, she didn't know that they were taken from the house.
Well, she had a...
She didn't know that they were taken with that, but she knew... Did you move in with your daughter? After?
After, yes.
You lived with your daughter?
Yes.
Are you living with your daughter, Kathy, now?
No.
No. Who are you living with now?
I'm living by myself now.
Who does Kathy live with?
Her grandmother passed, and she's living in her grandmother's house right now in the Bay Area.
Who owns that house?
Her grandmother.
Oh, her grandmother's dead. So now who owns
I'm
the
not
house?
sure.
What?
Probably her son. I'm not sure.
And when did she move into the house?
She left about April.
And your house was robbed sometime in June or July?
August.
In August. Where was she living in August?
Bay Area.
In her grandmother's house. Did you see her?
I haven't seen her since.
Since when?
April.
So when you spoke to her, allegedly, Mr. Gertz, and I'm not accepting this for the truth of it, but I'm trying to figure out which team you are, the good guys or the bad guys. When you spoke to her and she said she had things in the house, what house?
Her house.
In the Bay Area?
No. Where? At her mobile home in Placerville.
She have a mobile home?
We bought a mobile home together. She moved out. I stayed there.
She moved out when?
In
April.
Did she ever come back?
No.
Well, you weren't living there.
I had left
because you
moved in with her, and things didn't work out, so I came back to the mobile. And in the meantime, her grandmother got sick, and she went to the Bay Area.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Gertz, that her daughter Kathy related to you that her mother and 3 men took property from the home? I want you to be very careful what you tell me.
Yes and no. She called me and told me that...
she had the video game.
Yes, the video game, two Xboxes, and a stereo receiver that I had in my room.
You live there also?
Yes.
Okay, and what did you say?
I was like, really? And she's like, yeah. So, like, a couple days went by, and I called Betty, and I was like, why'd you take my stuff, you know? I had nothing to do with what's going on between you and my mom, so why'd you take my stuff?
Oh, so which one is your mother?
Kathy.
What was going on between them, Mr. Gertz?
Actually, I don't really know, you know, because I want to stay out of it, but I know that my stuff got taken.
Now, what was going on between the plaintiff and your mom?
They were disputing.
Disputing what?
Money that was supposed to be left there, and it wasn't left there.
You mean this cash for money for the rent?
Yes.
So now I have you speaking to Kathy and some stuff that was yours turned up in the mobile home.
Yes.
Got it. Now, she didn't take all this stuff.
No.
Who did?
I don't know. From what she told me that she...
Who told you that?
Betty.
That's Betty?
Yes.
Now, so that makes my life easier. Tell me when you had this conversation with Betty. You said, why would you take my stuff?
Right.
Because I didn't do anything to you. I'm not having a dispute with my mother over the rent that she allegedly left, that somebody else took. Why did you take my stuff? What did she say?
That she didn't do it, that the guys that helped her, whatever, might have grabbed it. She would
The
try
guys
to
that helped her
get her stuff.
So she had guys come and help her move her stuff.
Well, she had to because
And-
she don't really, you know, she doesn't move too good, you know?
No, I know. But she said to you, the guys that I may have had that helped me move my stuff may have taken your stuff?
Yes.
Is that what she said to you?
Yes.
When did she have this conversation with you?
A couple days after I talked to Kathy. I'm not too good with dates, but it was like a week after I talked to Kathy.
And where did this conversation take place?
Over the phone.
You called her?
Yes.
She answered you?
Yes.
So this is what your lawsuit is. Your lawsuit is that somebody took your stuff.
I went to the Bay Area to my daughter,
I understand. Your lawsuit accuses the defendants of taking your stuff.
Yes.
Tell me when they took your stuff and what proof you have that they took your stuff.
Okay, I have pictures of my belongings.
And?
I went to the Bay Area with a suitcase.
I don't care.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote. No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
And later today...
This is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. The date slip.
Shh. Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were told to do before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Betty Frazier says former roommate Kathy Anderson and Kathy's friend Terry Worley stole her property and threatened her. Kathy is countersuing for rent, property damage, and stolen belongings.
What proof?
That's all I have.
Well, that's
she
not...
kept everything for something that she needed extra cash. Her girlfriend started texting me really nasty texts saying she needed more money. For what? Probably for drugs. But she needed more money, and I told her...
Proof that you have pictures of your stuff, and when you came back, your stuff wasn't there?
She texts me and tells me that she has my things. I'm on a train.
Now, just a second. I would like to see the text where she says she has your things.
Right here.
Do you want to see if you can get her a stool or something first?
And here's a police report, and after...
No, I don't want a police report. I want to see the text.
Right there.
Where she says she has your stuff. Who's Terry? Well, you said to her all of her stuff is in Goodwill.
No, that was the day after, because
Just a
I
second.
told her...
All your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
She didn't answer the phone for 5 weeks.
Just a
It's not
second.
true.
I'm just asking you.
I said that.
You wrote to her, all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I told her to go look at Goodwill in Folsom.
No, that's not what you wrote.
Oh, I thought that was.
No, that's not what you wrote. You wrote all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom, and then you called her a name.
I called her a lot of names, I'm sorry, but she wouldn't respond to any of our phone calls for 5 weeks.
She said all your stuff is at Goodwill in Folsom.
I got her to respond that way. She wouldn't answer the phone for anybody. And then I have text where she said she wasn't coming back. She told Kathy she wasn't coming back. It's in my text.
You ever get your stuff back from Kathy?
Yes.
You got it all back?
Yes.
What did you get back?
2 Xbox games and my stereo receiver.
Did you physically go to the trailer to get them back? On what date?
I don't know.
So that's why you're not a plaintiff in this cross complaint, because you got all your stuff back.
Basically.
What's basically? What is that basically as a filler word?
I got my stuff back.
When you went to get your stuff back, was any property there that belonged to your mother? Is not an answer.
I want to say that there were some blankets that my grandmother made that I seen, some Afghans or something like that.
But you got your stuff back.
Yes, ma'am.
Your case is dismissed. We're done. Thank you.
Please excuse, you may step out.
She's got a drug problem. I know that she's taken like 10 Oxycontins a day, so she's probably misconstrued.
She wanted more money.
Everything was fine. She just left to go to the funeral and never came back.
That's why I was moving out.
I provoked her pretty violently, verbally.
I can't trust anybody.
Just can't trust everybody.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cox versus Morgan. Step forward.
Gloria Cox is suing Adrian Morgan for a refund of a car down payment.
This is not a difficult case. Ms. Cox, you wanted to get a used car for your granddaughter?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morgan had a used friend, contacted him, and ultimately went in with your granddaughter and purchased a car. On what date?
That was on the 22nd of September, Your Honor.
Of this year?
Yes, ma'am, 2016.
Okay. And the purchase price of the car was $3,200?
Originally, he had came to, with all the taxes and stuff, $3,700.
$3,700?
Yes, ma'am.
And you gave him a $500 deposit?
Yes, ma'am.
And signed the paperwork?
Yes, ma'am.
And your granddaughter, this is your granddaughter, she drove the car off the lot?
The next day, she picked up the car.
So that would be on September 23rd?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you with her when she picked up the car?
No, I wasn't.
Stand up here a second. Your last name is?
Jones. Jones.
Ms. Jones, when you picked up the car on September 23rd, where did you go?
After I picked up the car? I think I went home.
I want you to think. It wasn't so long ago. Where did you go? You picked up the car. What time did you pick up the car? Don't answer for her.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
This is the 4 corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, it doesn't exist. It's called puffing.
Real cases. Doc says Adrian Morgan sold her an Acura that turned out to be a lemon. She is suing for the return of her deposit.
Okay. What time did you pick up the car?
After I got out of school. So it was about 2 or 3. I told him I'll be there.
2 or 3. And this is your first car?
No, second.
What happened?
Sorry. The dates look around here.
Don't speak.
Okay, sorry.
I'm just waiting for her to turn off the phone, which is actually what you were told to do
sorry.
before.
Okay,
Can't you
power
just
off.
turn it off?
Power off.
What happened to your first car?
The engine went out. It was
Just a second.
overheated. Okay.
The engine went out with the first car that you had. After how long?
Maybe a month after I had it.
And do you remember where you got that car from?
No, because I didn't go with my aunt to buy it. She bought it for me.
Is this your aunt or your grandmother?
This is my grandmother.
Grandmother. So your aunt bought you the other car? And you didn't go with her. She gave you that car. You had a short period of time and the engine blew.
Yes.
And when was that?
It was in June.
So you were without a car for a couple of months, and your grandmother pitched in and bought you this car. Now you have a new car that you want to show off. So you picked up the car, and now I want you to think, where did you go?
To get the oil changed.
Why did you go and get the oil changed?
Because my uncle told me that when I first get a car, I should always get an oil change and the tune-up. So Valvoline.
Okay, so you went to a place and had them work on the car?
Yes.
And you drove there?
Yes.
And do you remember how long they worked on the car?
It was probably for like 15 minutes. It wasn't that long.
And then where did you go?
Just driving around.
Did you pick up any friends?
Yes, I had friends with me. They was already with me.
They went with you to pick up the car?
One friend did, yes.
And then did you pick up other friends?
Not that same day.
The next day?
Yes.
And how many friends did you pick up the next day?
2.
Was the next day a school day?
It was a school day, but it was senior skip day.
What does that mean?
That's the day you don't go to school and you go to the beach, but I never went to the beach.
A skip day, they call it?
Yes.
It's a what?
Senior skip day. They all skip out school
So
for that
the
day.
next day you had, which is now the 24th, right? September 24th. You took 3 of your friends and went to skip day. Where did you go?
We never got to go to the beach because my car was acting up. And plus my dad said no. So we just drove around, basically.
So you drove around. Where did you drive to?
Oak Ridge side of town.
And how many miles is that away from where you picked up the girls?
I don't know, maybe like...
How long did it take you to get there?
10, 15 minutes.
Can I see the contract, please? Days, a week, the car blew. You again had trouble with an engine with the car. And you brought the car, Miss Cox, back to Mr. Morgan, and you want your deposit back.
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Yeah, you don't get your deposit back. This car is sold as is. It says right here in the contract.
Yes, even
You don't
though,
get-
Your Honor, he promised after I told him it broke down the second day after she got this car, and she took it to get an oil change, and they said they already had an oil leak.
Just a second.
In it.
As is.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what your contract says. As is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
When I went up there with my friend to go pick up the car the same day, he said, if you have any problems with this car, you can come back.
I don't care. This is the written contract. This is the 4 corners of the contract. He could tell you, I'm going to guarantee this car for your lifetime. If it doesn't say that in this written contract, which is the 4 corners of the contract, it doesn't exist. It's called puffing. Have any problem with the car? Bring it right back and I'll take care of it. Very expensive 2 days you drove around in this car. And the next time you buy a car, I suggest you take it to a mechanic. You make that arrangement and you let a mechanic look at it and say, now I'll buy the car. But if you sign a bill of sale and a contract, and this bill of sale and this contract says, as is, that's how you purchase the car. So fortunately, you didn't pay him any more money, and he has no counterclaim. So that was a very expensive 2 days. It cost your grandmother $500. We're done. Thank you.
Pardon, Judge, excuse me. Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I thought that was pretty dirty of you.
Well, I sold her a good car.
You guaranteed me you would give her a reliable ride back and forth to school.
And they're satisfied with the car.
He need $350 more to get an engine.
I asked her to pay for the motor, and we installed it free.
Money has no name, no friend on it.
Can you please everybody?
You were planning a party for your daughter.
A quinceañera for us is very, very big.
This mom invited hundreds for the big day.
You were paying $17.80 per person. That sounds like quite a bargain.
She didn't provide me for 500 people because we work short.
But it was more than this party planner bargained for.
It was 660 people.
You have
Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Leticia Bermejo is suing event planner Blanca Yepes for breaching their contract regarding a party for her daughter's 15th birthday.
Order. All rise. It's case number 334 on the calendar, the matter of Bermejo versus Yepes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Siéntese, por favor.
Miss Bermejo, you were planning a party for your daughter.
Yes, I was.
Who was celebrating her 15th birthday.
Yes.
And that's a big deal.
A very big deal for us.
And you retained the defendant to coordinate that party.
Yes.
This lawsuit says that she breached your contract, that she didn't provide the services that you had contracted for. You want your money back plus a lot of money for aggravation.
Correct.
The defendant says that you actually owe her money, that she gave you exactly what you were supposed to have, but you had an additional 100 people at the party that you were not contracted for. So she had to hire additional security, et cetera. She had to bring additional people in. First, I'd like to know on
2015.
The venue where you were supposed to have it, where was that?
That was in Anaheim.
Who found the venue?
I contracted Blanca to actually.
Just a second. The person who found the venue was the defendant.
Yes.
The contract that you had with her, was that in writing?
Yes, it is.
I'd like to see it. So the entire total of everything that she was supposed to provide, she was to provide the venue.
Yes, she was.
And the tables and chairs.
Yes.
And the food.
Yes.
Tablecloths, decorations for the table.
Yes.
All of that for $8,900.
Yes.
You gave her a $500 deposit.
That's correct.
And this is wrong, by the way. If it's $8,000 and you gave her a $500 deposit, a total due is not $8,900. Somebody changed this. Who changed this 4 to a 9? Did you change this 4 to a 9?
No.
Well, somebody did, but the math is wrong. So you owed her, after the deposit, $8,400. Did you pay her the $8,400?
I did.
When did you pay her the $8,400?
I paid it 2 weeks prior to the event.
Any beverages?
No, we bought the beverages.
So you purchased. So she was providing the food, cake, venue, tables, people for $17.80 a person.
Yes.
That sounds like quite a bargain. How many people did you actually have at the event?
515 people.
Did you notify her that you were going to have extra people?
Well, I said, what if there's extra people coming in? She said if it wasn't a lot, it would be fine with them.
Did you have that conversation with her?
We had that conversation, and I clearly told her that the max capacity was 500 people, including the quinceañera and the chambelanes, which was an honored table for like 10 people extra.
The quinceañera is the...
The quinceañera is the lady who's being celebrated, and the chambelanes is the gentlemen who are going to go with her for the dance and all that.
Got it.
And that's like an honored table, which usually is 10 chairs extra, besides the 50 chairs for the 500 people, 10 chairs in each table.
And do you rent those from someone?
I own them.
You own them?
Yes.
Because this is your business.
Yes, it is.
So you own the tables and chairs and
Yes,
tablecloths
correct.
and everything else. Great. And who prepares the food?
A catering company does, and sometimes we do. If we only have one party, if we have 4 parties, a catering company does for us.
Who prepared the food for this event?
A catering company.
Were you personally at this event?
I was. I take that if you see in the contract, we actually gift her the cake for the 500 people.
Okay. So what was the problem with the event?
The problem with the event is because a quinceañera for us is very, very big.
Just tell me what the problem was.
Okay, the problem was that the bartender was never showed up.
Okay.
Her husband was the bartender, was inappropriately dressed, had a jar with said tips, which people were actually putting tips when he would make the beverage. My husband showed him how to actually do the beverages, or otherwise he wouldn't have been doing it. My daughter witnessed when he was drinking the beverages that we bought, okay?
What else?
Another thing, he was selling our beverages that we provided in that thing. The main table that is a big deal for us, it was holding onto tubes. It was inappropriately, I have proofs, inappropriately stand. The table didn't even fit the chambelanes and the damas that I told her that we were going to have in the
I don't understand what that is.
Okay, there's a main table.
The main table that you described for your daughter.
Yes.
And it's the men,
young
men who are going to be dancing with her.
Which is the main table where they sit.
I understand.
Okay.
And what was wrong with that table?
She didn't put enough chairs. She did not put it the appropriate weight where she told us she was going to do to that main of it. That's the only thing. No other thing was done to it. The tables, some of them had 10 chairs, some of them had 8 chairs. And there were only 35 tables, which I set the hall for 500 people, which should have been 50 tables.
You're not getting your money back. She prepared a party. She fed 515 people. She paid for the venue. You used her property. And if there were little things that went wrong that you weren't satisfied with, you'd say, you know what? If somebody asks me again whether I would recommend her, no, I was not happy. I wasn't happy that her husband was the bartender. I wasn't happy that he had a tip jar there. All you have to do is say to the husband, take the tip jar away. It's inappropriate to have a tip jar at this kind of party. You don't get your money back. Your daughter had her party. She paid for the catering for 515 people. You used the venue. Do you understand all of that?
Well, yeah, but she didn't provide me for 500 people because we were short. We were short. She fed her actually workers from the food that we paid for.
So what? When you make an event, most of the time, the help at one point or another is entitled to a meal. When did this party start?
It started at 5. They opened the hall.
Until when?
Till 12 o'clock.
Music?
I did.
And from 5 to 12, I assume that people ate and drank?
Yes.
You don't get your money back. Now I'm going to get to your counterclaim.
Your Honor, we put 50 tables with 10 chairs on each table.
Listen to me. I just explained to her she's not getting her money back.
But I want to explain my counter side.
Okay.
Not even enough of that. Not even with the sign that says 500 people. Not even with the 10 chairs. She brought in 10 tables, folding rectangle tables, and 100 chairs. Put them all around the hall.
Do you have pictures of that?
I have pictures of one side of the hall. I couldn't take pictures of the whole side, but we had to call extra security for this.
Why did you have to call extra security?
This is stocking. These tables are not mine. Can you ask her if these tables are hers? They have no linens, no chair covers. She wouldn't let any of my people to pick up those beer cans off the tables because she decided to recycle them after the party was due. So they were standing there for 8 hours, and the party started at 4 according to our contract. And she got in the hall at 2 p.m. because her husband was the DJ. He needed time to set up the equipment, but it was like more than 50 people around the hall, like if the party was in the morning, picking up all those trash cans that she wanted to recycle, and we had to stay until 4 in the morning cleaning the hall after her party was due.
You don't get any. You don't get any money from her. Don't do another party for her. She doesn't get any money back. Somebody want to show me a video? Is there a video that somebody wants to show?
Yes, there's a video of the 660 people that she had in the hall. Because it was 660 people.
Just a second. Did somebody do a count?
Yes, they did. The security people did. 600
well, I don't know that. Is anybody here from security?
We tried to, but they said we can only have 2 witnesses.
Do you have 660 people there?
No, I didn't. I did not have that many.
How many people did you have?
I had...
Careful. I'm going to look at a video.
That's fine.
Your Honor.
515.
515.
Your Honor.
What?
She told the producer that she had 600 guests in her contract until she found the contract and saw 500. She told my worker that it was 600.
Just a second. That's very easy. Did you tell the person who put this case together that you had 600 people? I'm going to bring them in here.
I told her 500.
No. Did you tell her 600 is what the defendant is saying? Did you tell the producer who produced this case that you had 600 people there at any time until you found the contract, which said 500? Control room.
Yes, I did.
You did tell her that you had 600 people. Ah, perfect. See, that's easy. My producer doesn't have to come and testify, which would have been a first, even for me.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
the branch of your tree fell and damaged her property. You acknowledge that.
There's pictures. Why would I deny that?
But then I don't understand your response to what I'm saying to you.
That's how I feel.
I don't care how you feel. What your feeling is unimportant to me. I just told you what the law is.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Leticia Bermejo says event planner Blanca Yepes breached their contract regarding a party for their daughter. Blanca is countersuing for the cost of a cleaning crew and punitive damages.
Now, $17.80 times 100. $1,780. That's what you owe her. You owe her because you had 100 more people, not 15, 100. Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,780. We're done here. Case is dismissed.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I thought that it was very abusive from her to even come and file a lawsuit against me when I never asked for it. That the parents trying to get some money back from their expenses.
Be careful with the people that you actually get the venue from.
Bring this up and make a beautiful party into a nightmare, you know?
It's a total disaster. Never contract her.
Never again.
And she promises stuff she's not going to give you.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Davies versus Dunn Beams. Step forward.
Marlene Davies is suing her neighbors, Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams, for property damage as the result of a dead tree.
Miss Davies, how long have you and the defendants been neighbors?
Ever since I moved up there in 2000.
So a long time.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And how long have you lived in your home?
About 10, 11 years.
You had a tree on your property.
Yes, ma'am.
That tree, or branch of that tree that was on your property, fell over and damaged the fence and a rabbit hutch that was on the plaintiff's property.
That's correct.
And she's suing for a nominal amount to fix both the fence and to reconstruct the rabbit hutch. If I'm reading your answer right, you acknowledge that the tree was leaning over on her property, and I don't think you even deny the fact that some of that tree, if not all of it, was dead. What kind of tree was it?
It was a scrub oak. It was not dead.
Was that branch dead?
Am I dead?
I'd like to take a look at it. Your defense seems to be if Miss Davies wanted to trim your tree, then she should have done that.
Absolutely.
And then she wouldn't have had the damage.
Correct.
Right? This is where you are mistaken. Your last name is?
Dunn.
Dunn? Is this the tree that you're talking about?
No, ma'am. In the background.
Oh, I got it. The one that's covered with vines. Is it covered with vines?
May I step up there and point out?
Circle it.
And then in the other picture, she'll see the top where it broke.
Okay.
It's hard for me to tell whether it's...
Well, she said there's another picture where you can see the top of it, that it broke
And,
off.
Your Honor...
Oh, this one.
Right.
So it was a big branch that fell off. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Big trunk
okay,
of the tree.
So this is where your thinking, sir, is wrong.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You're being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side...
Yes, ma'am.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Marlene Davies says neighbors Bert Dunn and girlfriend Amy Beams owe for damage to her fence and rabbit hutch caused by a dead tree.
The plaintiff has the right to trim a tree, whether it be dead or alive, that's encroaching over her property line. She has the right to do that. You are confusing right with responsibility. Those are two different things. You couldn't complain if the plaintiff trimmed the tree that was hanging over her property. You would have no cause of action because you are encroaching on her property. But if that tree which is on your property that doesn't look like a healthy tree, that tree is your responsibility. She has the right to trim it, but you have the responsibility to maintain it in such a way so that it does not cause damage to your neighbor's property. And if you neglect to do that, and you may have a property that has lots of trees, I understand that. It's happened to me many times, both ways with neighbors. But if my tree damages a neighbor's property, I'm responsible, even though the neighbor had the right to trim it. You're confusing those two things, sir. Do you want to again?
Fine.
The branch of your tree was hanging over her property, over her fence, and over this rabbit hutch. She, if she wanted to, at her expense, could have had someone come in and trim that tree, and you would have no cause to complain. That was her right. However, she does not have the responsibility to maintain the tree. You do. It's your tree. And if your tree, because she chooses not to spend the money to trim it, if you choose not to either take it down or trim it, it's your responsibility if it causes damage. I tried to say that even louder so you could understand it.
I understand what you're saying, but she let the branch die enough for a storm caused to fall on her property.
You let it...
Sorry, Your
You're
Honor.
being annoying. Because I don't understand why somebody would want to interrupt when it appears as if your side is winning.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Weren't you listening to what I said to him?
Yes, ma'am.
She didn't let the branch die. You did. And Right now, you just cooked your own goose because you said it was a healthy tree. You said she let the branch die. She didn't. It wasn't her tree. It was your tree.
That branch laid in her property. That's where she let it die, where she gets her pictures of a dead tree.
I don't understand. Are you... A branch of your tree fell and damaged her property. You acknowledge that in your answer.
Yeah, I mean, there's pictures. Why would I deny that?
But then I don't understand your response to what I'm saying to you.
That's how I feel.
I don't care how you feel. What you're feeling is unimportant to me. I just told you what the law is.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
She has the right to trim the tree. It's not her responsibility. It's your responsibility, if you've got a tree with dead limbs, to make it safe so that it doesn't damage other people's property. That's your responsibility. There's a difference between a right and a responsibility.
I have lots of trees on my property. It's a very dense area in the wooded area back. She has an open yard with a fence, very easily for her to see, and could have brought it to my attention.
That she could have, but I'm going to suggest that if it's very dense where you are, what you do is you periodically walk around the perimeter of your property and take a look at it. If you choose to let trees die that could impact your house, that's your right. But you cannot allow trees to die on the perimeter of your property and damage other people, your neighbor, either to bring it to your attention, and with your attitude, you would have said, if you don't like that dead tree branch, trim it.
It wasn't dead.
You just told me, you just said to me 2 seconds ago, you told me 2 seconds ago, she allowed the tree branch to die. She should have notified me that it was dead.
That's
you just said that to me a moment ago.
After it died.
All right. You have to fix your fence on the rabbit hutch? Yes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount requested, $600. We're finished here.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, naturally, I'm happy because I won, but...
I think it's ridiculous.
The mistake they were making, it wasn't a branch, it was a whole tree trunk fell.
I think she could have trimmed the tree branch a long time ago.
But that's okay if he thinks it was a scrub oak and it wasn't rotten. That's good.
She let the storm damage it, fall in her yard, and she let it lay there and rot for months.
My son has the weather report for that day. No rain.
She didn't need permission to trim. I mean, it's on her yard. She could have trimmed it. Could have been done with a long time ago.
He didn't give a damn.
Nah, we're still neighbors. I mean, we got to get along.
Well, I've already given him notice that he's got rotten trees he needs to take care of, so...
There's no hard feelings to her.
In the event it happens again, I guess we'll be back.
You know, maybe next time we can have some better communication.
I like Judge Judy.
I didn't do it, and this is the reason I'm suing my mother.
A son denies crimes against his family.
Stole the TV out of my mom's room, hit my sister 3 times in the face. I was arrested, ripped out of my bed in my underwear.
These reports indicate that you were totally uncooperative.
How would you react?
Did he bring it on himself?
How many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch. My anger gets the best of me.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Glenn Hazelton is suing his mother, Nancy Hazelton, for falsely accusing him of assault and theft.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 375 on the calendar in the matter of Hazelton versus Hazelton.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ma'am, have a seat, please.
Mr. Hazelton, the defendant is your mother, and it is your claim that she had you falsely arrested a little over a year ago for both stealing her property and for assaulting your sister, who tried to intervene and prevent you from taking her television. That's what the case is about. You spent, according to you, 6 days in jail. You finally bailed yourself out, and you want to be compensated. Being arrested last year, when you were arrested on your mother's complaint, how many times had you been arrested before?
A bunch.
How many? More than a dozen?
I could say yes.
And were those, at least some of those arrests, drug-related?
No.
Were they alcohol-related?
No.
Were they physically related? Were they assault cases?
Some. But what does that got to pertain to this case?
Everything pertains to this case. Was some of them involving theft?
No.
Was some of them involving trespass?
No.
So they were all involving assault. More than a dozen cases. What I'm gathering now is information. So of the more than a dozen arrests you had, none involved drugs, none involved alcohol, none involved theft, none involved trespass, all involved assault. Is that a yes or a no?
That's a no.
What else do they involve other than assault?
I'm just talking about this case, Your Honor.
I'm talking about who the
I'm
party...
going to talk about this case at hand. If you don't want to discuss this case, then we can just dismiss it.
Great. Then I'm dismissing it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. You have a good day.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Are you telling me that you were not high up?
Okay, I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear for a crime I did not commit. How would you react?
And later today...
What an outrageous bill. It is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was so shocked.
$9,000. And your insurance paid almost $6,000.
Yes.
For going down the toilet as a country.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. In a case recalled from earlier today, Glenn Hazelton says his mother, Nancy Hazelton, falsely accused him of assaulting his sister and stealing her TV.
I should recall case 375 in the matter of Hazelton versus Hazelton.
Thank
Parties
you.
are reminded you're still under oath. You're welcome, Judge.
Mr. Hazelton, Officer Byrd tells me that you have had second thoughts about answering the court's questions, and you're asking me to reconsider the dismissal of this case. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So then let's get back to where I was questioning you before. According to your answers previously, you've been arrested at least a dozen times, none involving drugs. Is that correct?
That is correct.
None involving alcohol.
That is correct.
None involving burglary.
That is correct.
None involving theft.
That is correct.
All involved. So of the more than dozen times you've been arrested, it is as a result of either temper or a mental illness, if it wasn't drug or alcohol related.
No, my anger gets the best of me.
Well, that's an uncontrollable...
It's an uncontrollable issue.
For which you've been or not been in treatment?
Not.
Is it correct, Ms. Hazelton, that your son never had either a drug or an alcohol problem?
Alcohol.
In October of 2015, Mr. Hazelton, how were you supporting yourself?
By working.
For whom?
Green Star Lawn Maintenance.
How long have you worked for them?
For 38 years, off and on.
Are you working for them now?
Yes.
Full time?
Yes.
In the same location?
Yes.
Is that correct?
I think so.
Do you remember on what day you were arrested?
Yeah, I was arrested on May 6, 2015.
Where?
In Handyman County.
Is that where you live?
I lived, yes.
What time were you arrested?
About 12:20.
In the morning?
In the morning, yeah.
And you were at home?
I was at home, right?
And you were arrested on the complaint of your mother and or your sister? Or just your mother?
I was arrested on my mother and sister's complaints stating that I walked in an unlocked door, used the restroom. Upon leaving the restroom, stole the TV out of my mom's room, hit my sister 3 times.
Okay, you're the sister?
No.
Where is the sister?
She's passed away.
Were you at home that day?
No.
So the sister that you allegedly assaulted is no longer here?
No.
Is that correct?
That is correct.
And I gather from your answer that you were not at home when this took place.
No.
Did you have a conversation with your daughter when you got home?
She was holding an ice...
Just a second. Did you have a conversation with her?
Yes.
At what time did you get home on, it would be the 5th of May? What time did you get home?
Between probably 9:30 and 9:45, I was playing bingo.
And at that time, Miss Hazelton, who did you live with?
My daughter lived with me.
How old was she?
Let's see.
She was 52.
Shh.
Yeah, she was 50.
She was 50 then?
Yeah.
So when you came home, it was 9:30, 9:45, and tell me first what you saw.
I saw her holding an ice pack on her face, and I asked her what happened. And she said, Glenn came here to use the bathroom, so she let him in. And in the process of using the restroom, he came out with my 32-inch TV, and she went to stop him, and he hit her in the face. That's what she told me. And police were knocking on the doors.
Had your daughter called the police?
Yes.
Okay, so she had called the police before you even got home?
Oh, yes.
Do you have the police report?
No, I don't have that.
Do you have the police
Yes, I do.
report? I'd like to see it, sir.
Okay.
Just the police report.
It's right there.
You do know that these reports indicate that you were totally uncooperative, had to be placed in a hood, a spit hood, had to be put in an isolation area.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Are you telling me that you were not high on some sort of drug or alcohol that night when they came to your home to arrest you?
Excuse me, Your Honor. Let me first say this.
I asked you a question, Mr. Hazelton. We had
no,
an
I
agreement.
was not high. No, I was not high. No, I was not on no drugs, okay? My actions speak louder than words. I was arrested, hauled off to jail, ripped out of my bed in my underwear, and you're telling me for a crime I did not commit, how would you react? And the charges were dismissed, not by the judge, by the public defender, the state's attorney, because I didn't steal the tea. She's seen me in a while. She hasn't seen me in 7 years. And it's just, it came out of her in the police report, she states that. And my sister said 2 different signs. She said she came home in an ice pack, but there's no bruises or marks on her. I hit her 3 times. It's all a lie. And why don't they look in her question and call me and ask me, did I do this? They know where I live. You know, they're trying to give me 46 years for this TV. My life is a little more than 46 years, okay? Or acting out in jail or whatever. I didn't do it, and this is the reason I'm suing my mother. I'm out $2,500. I could have gone after her for penal stolen damages.
Your case is dismissed, Mr. Hazelton. You have no case against your mother. We're finished here.
As far as our excuse, you may step out.
It wasn't about the money.
He figured, well, if he got dismissed,
It was about to show the world that I didn't steal her PD.
he's going to go after my mom for the jail money.
Hope it gives them peace of mind.
I hope he gets help.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Appleby versus Grassi, step forward.
Lamea Adelby is suing her former neighbor, Patricia Grassi, for medical bills and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Yes. The incident that you're complaining about. The incident that you're complaining about allegedly happened in the state of Connecticut, where you and the defendant were neighbors of sorts.
Yes.
And it is your claim that her cat, in October of last year, bit you. You had certain medical bills that you incurred as a result of that. You want her to be responsible. Before I get into that, I'd like to know when you relocated to California.
I relocated end of June. I'm a travel nurse, so I move every 3 to 4 months. So I was here June 26th.
I don't know what you mean you're a traveler.
I'm a travel nurse, so I work for an agency and I go to different hospitals every 3 to 4 months, depending on the needs of the hospitals.
So you were in Connecticut from October to June?
No, I was in Connecticut from July to October.
July through October.
Then end of October, October 30th, I moved to New York City, and I was there...
Just a minute. And you were in New York City until when?
Till May, mid-May.
Now, New York City is much closer to Connecticut than is Los Angeles. So my first question for you would be, why did you choose to initiate rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut and then close by in a state that touched the state where this happened, rather than waiting until you were thousands of miles away?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots, because she has to protect herself.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Lamea Adelby is suing her former neighbor, Patricia Grassi, for medical bills and lost wages after Patricia's cat bit her.
Okay. Why did you choose to initiate this case when you moved to Los Angeles rather than for the time that you were in Connecticut?
I didn't receive the bill till late April of 2016, and I was already planning to move to LA.
Well, you didn't move until May.
Yes.
You received bills in April from whom?
From Norwalk Hospital. It's my emergency room bill. of $3,013.30 right here.
Are you
insurance? This is what the cost was.
After insurance, there was a copay of over $3,000?
Yes.
How much was the whole bill?
It was a lot more than that. This breaks it down.
I'd like to see that, please. Wow. And you were there just for the afternoon at Norwalk Hospital?
I went there at night to go get my rabies shots.
Okay,
and
but
then
you
had
didn't
to-
stay over in the hospital?
No.
What an outrageous bill.
Yes.
What an outrageous bill. It is, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I was so shocked.
$9,000. And your insurance paid almost $6,000.
Yes.
We're going down the toilet as a country. Okay, and it is your claim that this visit to Norwalk Hospital and the resulting bill that you have, which is $3,000, is a result of Miss Grassi's black cat biting you.
Yes, I have a picture of the bite.
Now, Miss Grassi, I understand from reading the complaint, this happened on October 15th?
Yes.
October 15th. You have a black cat, or you have two?
I have two black cats.
Now, on October 15th, I want you to tell me what happened.
It was October 10th, actually. And I was driving home from work. I was parking in my parking lot, and I noticed a black cat. And he approached me and was trying to follow me up to my apartment. I went upstairs and tried to open the two sets of doors, trying to go in real fast because he was trying to go in.
To your apartment?
Yes. He was trying to go in, and I didn't allow him to, and I was trying...
Tell me what you did.
I just tried to open the door real quick to avoid him and to go inside because there's two doors, and he was already there, and then he bit me on my left above my ankle right there.
Yeah, I see that.
And I screamed, and he ran the other way, and I just went inside as fast as I could.
Okay. And you called animal control, you called the police.
I originally went to urgent care, and I have a report from them.
Did you call animal control?
The urgent care did.
Urgent care?
Yeah. I have this, and they say that they called them.
And you described the cat?
Yes.
How far does the defendant live from you?
She lives across the street at the time. I also have the report from animal control.
Now, I'm going to look at that in a second. At some point, you were advised by a neighbor of yours that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat, right?
Yes.
You were advised that animal control was setting a trap for a black cat.
Yes, a black cat, the cat that...
And your cats go in and out? Both of them or just one of them?
No, one.
The other one is strictly a house cat?
Very elderly and arthritic and doesn't move.
Okay, so the one that goes out is a black cat?
That's right.
Is that cat bitten before?
No.
May I see the animal control report?
And she had told me that her sister gets bitten by that cat whenever I first met her.
When did she tell you that her sister was bitten by that cat?
I think I met her around October 14th, 4 days after they located her and the cat. And I was like, oh, I got bit by your cat. And she was like, yeah, the cat roams around all the time, and he bit my sister. He bites my sister all the time.
What did you say to her when she said the cat bites my sister?
Well, I was shocked that a cat like that should be roaming around the street and biting around without our knowledge, and it doesn't even have a collar.
What's your sister's name?
Noreen.
Noreen live with you?
Yes, she does.
Just a second. Okay. That's my question. Does Noreen live with you?
Yes.
Does she work?
Yes.
Is she working today?
No.
Where is she today?
She's taking care of my cats and dogs.
How many cats do you have?
I have two.
How many dogs?
Two.
The one that bit her?
Yes, about 5 years ago. I'm not sure of the date.
When you were told about this, you did, in fact, pay for the rabies shot that the plaintiff got. Is that right?
I did.
Is that an arrangement that you made with animal control as well?
No. Animal control, as soon as I told animal control that my cat was up on his rabies shots and told him the name of the vet and told him to call the vet if he had any questions.
What date was that?
It was after the day that Lamia came to see me. That
it was
must have
after
been the 14th or the 15th.
She had already been to the emergency room.
Yes.
She incurred this bill before she found out that your cat was up to date on her rabies.
Yes.
On its rabies shots.
Yes. But may I say something?
Sure.
Okay. She got the initial rabies shots but there are 3 booster shots.
We're not even talking about the booster shots. We're talking about the $3,000 that she got as a bill from the emergency care that she went to before she knew that your cat was up to date on its rabies shots.
All right.
Do you understand?
I do.
That's a bill that, but for the fact that you let your cat out, she would not have incurred, because she has to protect herself by following this procedure.
I understand.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
You still have that cat?
Yes, I do. And the cat, the cat didn't bite my sister. He will take a nip, but he doesn't, blood is not drawn. All right. And he's never has bitten anybody else. He is a very friendly cat, and he's around people a great deal.
He shouldn't be outside.
But no one has ever complained about him. He's
still
very
let
friendly.
him out?
Oh, yes. Because he's not vicious. And people...
Well, he bit her.
I know he did. But people come up to me and tell me, people who lived in the same apartment house that she does, and they say, oh, your cat's so friendly. I just love him, and they have names for him, and they visit with him.
Miss Grassi, you owe her $3,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Parties are excused and they step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You hit a brand new car, and you were dodging her.
She came to my house
because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
Judge.
I guess she knows what she's talking about because that's her job.
I'm so happy about her decision.
I do love my cat, and other people don't have that affection.
As a nurse, I knew I had to go get treatment. You have 48 to 72 hours. Otherwise, I get rabies, and I could die if the cat did have rabies.
He's an outdoor cat. He was rescued from being outside.
People should have collars on their animals and not have them roaming around the streets, especially if they're known to bite or nip around.
You just can't take an outdoor cat and make him an indoor animal.
I'm glad I'm fine, and I'm glad everything turned out well today.
A mother's battle with her ex.
You never paid child support.
No, he never bought diapers.
You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Then her new man picked up the fight.
I walk my kids to school, they come in with guns. They've been threatening my life.
He wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
I'm not saying I'm completely innocent. I'm not.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Jeanette Ward and her fiancé, Travis Galloway, are suing the father of Jeanette's restraining order and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 383 on the calendar in the matter of Galloway Ward versus Reed.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat.
We're going to start with you, Miss Ward. Miss Ward, you and Mr. Reed have a child together.
Yes.
Girl or a boy?
A girl.
And she's 7?
Yes.
And you lived in what state when she was born?
In California.
Did you ever live with Mr. Reed?
Yes.
For how long?
2 years.
And after you separated, you remained in California?
Yes.
And you met Mr. Galloway?
Yes.
And you and Mr. Galloway have been together for how long?
For almost 5 years.
You have a child together?
We have 2.
Where are you from, Mr. Galloway?
I was born and raised, I was in Long Beach, California. Long Beach, California.
Do you have family elsewhere?
I was raised in foster care. I never grew up with my mom or dad.
Do you have any connection to the state of Washington?
I have friends, yes I do. I have friends out there. I moved out there to...
Did you have friends when you moved there?
Yes, ma'am.
From school, from
just growing up, from work friends, and we decided to go out there for a better way of living, better living. Yes, ma'am.
So in what year did you and Miss Ward decide to go to the state of Washington?
I want to say, was it December, late December of last year, January this year.
And you took Miss Ward and Mr. Reed's daughter with you?
Yes, ma'am. We took our family with us, yes.
Well, you took his family with you.
You're correct, you're correct.
And so this is what I'm gathering, putting together this case. You left the state of California with your 2 children.
Yes.
You said you were moving there for a better life.
Yes, ma'am.
And in all probability, without Mr. Reed's consent, you took his daughter as well. Did you have Mr. Reed's consent before you moved with your daughter?
No.
These papers don't make that clear, but I assume there was a lawsuit brought by Mr. Reed.
Yes, ma'am.
To return his daughter to her home state, which was California.
You're correct, yes.
And the judge who heard that case agreed with him.
Yes.
And said, you're a mother, you're a father, you each have rights. You can't take Mr. Reed's child out of the state of California because your family wants a better life without consulting him and putting him in the mix. Child is entitled to have 2 parents.
Your Honor, Mr. Reed hasn't been in the child's life. He hasn't been around.
Well, what I can tell you is custody of his daughter.
You're correct.
Since when?
He had custody September, but we went back to court and we got joint custody.
Well, how are you going to manage joint custody from the state of California to the state of Washington?
The judge let me allow her to come visit me on her breaks, her winter, summer, spring breaks.
That's great. So you have her during holidays, winter breaks, and during the summer.
Right.
And other than that, she lives with her father in the state of California.
Right.
Who do you live with, sir?
I stay with my grandmother right now.
And where is your daughter living? With you and your grandmother?
Yes.
How is she?
She's very good. We just had a birthday for her not too long ago. She had a blast. Like November 19th, she just turned 7. She's having fun. Me and her's reconnected very good. It hasn't been that good since she moved away from her mother. It's kind of hard to undo everything that they have done.
Excuse me, Your Honor. We have video that's showing that his daughter is telling that she doesn't want to live with him. She wants to come back home.
Well, the problem, sir, is that you made a life choice to leave so that effectively...
The reason why I left was because of harassment from him and his family. They kept my kids to school. They're coming with guns. They've been threatening my life.
Well,
so
I don't know what this lawsuit is about. I'm not quite sure. What you're suing for are the expenses that you had to incur coming back and forth to litigate this case from the state of Washington to California.
That's true, and also for harassment against Mr. Reed, and my moving costs because I moved out of state, trying to get away from his family and the threats.
Well, that's not what you told me initially. What you told me initially was that you moved to the state of Washington because you had friends there and because you wanted a better way of life for you and your family. That's what you initially told me.
Yes, ma'am.
And I probably was a combination of things. Didn't necessarily need Mr. Reed in your family life. You have a lovely family, 2 children, and 3 with Mr. Reed's daughter. And she was well enmeshed in your family, which is all very lovely. But your mistake was your mistake, saying to him, you are a non-parent. We don't have to ask you if we want to move.
No, we had no contact with him.
For how long?
For years,
We went to court.
We have video.
Just a second.
We had a court. He was supposed to come pick her up from school every other weekend and every Wednesday, and I have a video evidence.
Just a second. Who brought that proceeding?
The judge.
No. The judge doesn't bring a proceeding. Either you brought a proceeding against him, or he brought a proceeding against you for visitation with his daughter.
He did.
He did.
And he never...
Just a second.
I'm sorry.
That would be very, very... That would be very, very odd, Mr. Galloway. It sounds to me as if at least on 2 occasions that I know of, in 2015 and then again in 2016, Mr. Reed either used his own money, family money, friends' money, or whatever to pursue 2 actions to see his daughter. 2. 1 for visitation. Is that the first time you went to court with him?
No.
Has he brought other actions?
Yes.
Also for visitation?
Yes.
Because, you see, Mr. Reed views this whole thing a little bit differently. Do you have a problem with Mr. Galloway, Mr. Reed?
Yes and no.
Well, let's start with the yes first.
The thing is, you know, he wanted to disrespect me, slander me.
How did he disrespect you?
He called me a... everything. Constantly. He mentions me in his Facebooks. He mentions me a lot.
May I see what you're referring to?
Let's see. Well, matter of fact,
No, don't give me a whole bunch of stuff. Just give me exactly what you want me to read.
Okay, there we go. And he also just, I got text messages just saying I'm using my daughter for EB, just trying to get food stamps and everything else, which I know I work a lot. And he's saying he's disabled. So pretty much it's been a whole bunch of shh. And I got stuff on Facebook. I got stuff on my text messages too. I had to comply with. Oh, yes, ma'am.
You want to tell me what this is about, Mr. Galloway?
Let's see. Well, I can tell you what this is about. He's filed different restraining orders on me. I got a phone call from Jonathan's brother saying, oh, well, come fight me. They tried to set me up to come fight them. And if I would have came, I promised Jeanette, no, I'm not going to go fight them. But what I got a phone call saying, come fight me, come fight me, come fight me. If I would have came, they had the lawyers and the restraining orders so that I can get caught up and sent to jail for fighting them. I said, well, if you guys want to fight, we can fight fairly as men. No guns, no restraining orders, no help, no, you know.
Mr. Reed.
And that was my reaction towards their action.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
There sounds to me like there's enough blame here to go all the way around.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm completely innocent.
There's
I'm not.
Enough blame to go all the way around. When Miss Ward's daughter was living with you full-time, was Mr. Reed paying child support?
No. The reason why... I'm sorry.
These things usually have a pattern. Mr. Reed?
Yes?
You went for visitation, and I'm certain at some point that Miss Ward... Was there an order of child support?
No.
Why not?
Because they was trying to find her to make child support.
What?
They was looking for her.
We're talking about years ago, sir. You hadn't lived together in many years. Do you work?
Yes.
Who do you work for?
I work for Walmart.
How long have you worked for Walmart?
2 years. Before that, I was going to school and trying to finish up my education.
How old are you?
27.
So the answer is you never paid child support?
No.
He never bought diapers.
Let me explain something to you, Mr. Galloway. When I say to you there's more than enough blame to go around here, you don't have a case against him. This is an unfortunate family court situation, and you may find that it gets some things off your chest. But the truth of the matter is I don't think that you should be involved with their child, you.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't think that he may have handled anything or everything appropriately.
Your Honor.
I'm not sure. I know you're going like this, sir. There's a lot of difference between going like this and what I'm reading here. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good.
But I have proof on my phone from text messages that I have not been involved. I have every text on my phone.
You have not been involved
I
with
have
what?
not been involved. He's bringing my name up.
Just a second. He didn't sue you. You sued him.
For harassing me. I'm not suing him. I'm not involved in the child.
Mr. Galloway, did you ever seek and receive a protective order against Mr. Reed? Did you ever seek a court-ordered protective order against Mr. Reed and receive one, is my question.
No, I have not. Okay. I've received bogus reports.
That's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Did Mr. Reed ever seek a protective order against you?
He's tried.
Just a second. The answer would be yes.
Yes.
He did. And was he granted a temporary restraining order?
It was denied.
I didn't say final. Was he granted a temporary?
No, ma'am.
Was not. So that you didn't risk being arrested when you said that you risked being arrested.
That's just 2 days ago.
Oh, that's outrageous. What? Who are you?
I'm the aunt.
This
I'm a witness.
We have a restraining order against her.
Just a second. Right now, I don't have to hear from you.
Okay.
Because he's not losing this case so far. And I don't think he will. But you really have to realize, Miss Ward, that your 7-year-old daughter didn't ask to be involved in this unfortunate family circumstance. You made her, she was born, and I assume that when you made her, you planned on trying to make her childhood as happy as possible. I assume that that's what both of you wanted when you had this child. Fortunately, it didn't work out between the two of you. That doesn't mean that you can discard him. Now, you have a lovely new mate with whom you have 2 children. I assume you're working in the state of Washington?
I have my own business.
What kind of business?
I'm a club promoter, and I'm a music producer.
And you work in Washington?
I work in different states. I travel back and forth from different states.
Well, then the state of Washington could have been a possibility for you, as could have another place closer in California.
Yeah, I was trying to, we moved out of, because we were walking one day while Jeanette was pregnant. She was pregnant. Some guys, the lady right here, and the daughter, and her dad pulled up on us with a gun, saying that we were in the wrong place. We moved out for our protection.
Just a second.
We moved out of
Don't
California.
speak.
And they pulled out with a gun. They had a gun.
I don't want you to speak.
While she was pregnant.
Just a second. Them.
And they came to our
Just a
door.
second. Just a second. I'm not getting into them. I'm talking about him.
He sent them. He's texting me while this is happening.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
Correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about...
Not about.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Jeanette Ward and fiancé Travis Galloway say the father of Jeanette's child, Jonathan Reed, filed a false restraining order against Travis.
Mr. Galloway, you don't have a case against him, but all I can tell you is you have a 7-year-old child. You can either make her childhood miserable or you can make her childhood happy. I guarantee you this. If you make her child miserable, she's going to get back at you tenfold.
Exactly.
With her behavior.
I have video.
She's going to... You're far too involved with this, sir. You're far too involved.
Because he's hiding. He's hiding behind... He's hiding behind some things. This video showed
Did you notice? You notice how you're quiet? Is it because you understand?
No, I'm just waiting to speak.
I'm listening.
When I moved, I thought I had full custody. He wasn't in her life. I wasn't asking for child support. And every time we moved to get away from him, they end up finding us, and my life and my family life was in. And when
I want to tell you something. Unless this family court judge was totally out of his mind, he would never have returned the child to her father. Now, I don't know what the circumstances were, and I have absolutely no intention of spending 2.5 hours to figure out the whys. All I know is her father went to court twice that I know of, probably more, in order to get visitation with his daughter, which I have a feeling, based upon what I'm hearing over here, was probably made difficult for him. Probably made difficult for him. Otherwise, I don't understand why he would spend time and money to go to family court and seek visitation, seek an order of visitation. I don't understand. You have no case. Goodbye.
Excuse you, may step out.
He's putting false accusations on me. He has false restraining orders against me.
It was really good. Justice was served.
Got people threatening me coming to my house.
Not true at all. Not true.
Him and his family members coming to my house with weapons and pulling up on me with guns and stuff.
He wanted me out of my child's life.
I moved out of the state. I moved to protect myself.
We didn't do anything to harm her, jeopardize her any kind of way.
It's time to lawyer up.
Just hope that we can move on from this and get better.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Hall versus Rogers. Step forward.
Jason Hall is suing mechanic Dwayne Repairs and a parking ticket.
Mr. Hall, you wanted to do a nice thing, fix up your car, an old car that you had to give it to your nephew.
Correct.
It needed a lot of work, and you brought it to the defendant's shop.
No, he does it on the side at his home.
He told you what it would take to repair it, and you gave him $1,000.
Correct.
When was that?
September the 15th, excuse me.
Of this year?
Correct.
Okay. Did he fix the car?
No, ma'am, he did not.
And then your car got towed
That's correct.
from the street.
Correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about,
Not about.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And then your car got towed
That's correct.
from the street.
Correct.
You had to get it out.
Correct.
How much did that cost?
About $200, $250 if I can check here, Your Honor.
How much?
It's about,
Not about.
$250.
When you got the car out of impound, when you brought it to him,
Initially correct.
when you picked the car up from impound, from where it had been towed, was it drivable?
No, ma'am, it was not.
And when was it towed?
It was towed on October the 21st, this year.
So about 5 weeks later.
Roughly, yes, ma'am.
So in 5 weeks, you didn't fix the car.
No, ma'am.
So you have to give him his money back.
Well, it just ain't that easy because when he gave me the money, I had to go buy parts.
Show me the receipts for parts that you bought.
I don't have no receipts.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,250. We're done here. Thank you. Thank you.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I'm very happy with the decision. It's very quick.
I don't have all day just to be working on the car. I have a small window after I get off of work.
The evidence was there. She needed to see it. She saw it.
The car had got towed because of bad tags.
Take it to a dealer if you need it fixed.
The only thing he had to do was just change the tags, and it was still been there, and I could have fixed it.
Tenant troubles spill into the open.
How many times were the police called to the home?
At least 2 or 3. It was 10 times that the police had been called about my house.
And a landlord loses sleep.
They had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair, she would hit him.
It was a full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
There's more here. I just don't have time to go there.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 21-year-old Kiana Fisher is suing her ex-landlord, 24-year-old Emily Miller, for vandalizing and stealing her property.
Order. All rise. It's case number 370 on the calendar in the matter Fisher versus Miller.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, huh?
Are you Nicholas?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, why don't you stand up with Miss Fisher, please? Miss Fisher, you and your boyfriend rented a room from Miss Miller.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did you find the room?
Nicholas's friend is a coworker of Emily's, well, was a coworker of Emily's, and that's how we found out that she was renting out her room for rent.
And when did you move into the room?
The beginning of April.
How much was the room?
$650 a month.
Where were you working?
I was actually working from home. I owned my own business, so I was just...
What kind of business?
I was selling glass art online.
And what kind of work were you doing, Nicholas?
I'm unemployed at the moment, but my mom does own a...
Have you been unemployed?
I want to say about 2 years. I'm waiting for surgery for my shoulder. Both shoulders, actually. They're both damaged.
Miss Fisher, you stayed until what date in the room?
I stayed and I left on September 5th was the last day that I was there.
Between April and September, how many times were the police called to the home?
I would say at least 2 or 3.
Who called them?
I do not know who called the police.
The police were called to the home because of fights between you and Nicholas?
Yes. It was just verbal. I mean, they did come,
I don't care.
Okay.
At least 2 or 3.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you lived in your apartment where you rented them a room?
It's a home in Citrus Heights. I've lived there since 2014, January.
Do you rent it?
I do.
Who else lives with you?
At the moment, I have a new roommate, but it's just me.
But just you?
Yep.
Prior to Miss Fisher and her boyfriend Nicholas moving in, how many times were the police called to your home?
Once, maybe.
For what?
It was a verbal altercation.
With whom?
My ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend?
Yep.
When was that?
March or April. I'm
of
not
what
sure.
year?
2016. I have the printout of the police reports between the end of July and September when they moved out, and it was 10 times that the police had been called about my house.
10 times.
And a few of them were not called by me. Anonymous neighbors had called.
27th, 29th of July, August 3rd, 12th, August 28th, September 1st, 2nd, 5th twice, or 5th 3 times. Well, who called the police on the 5th of September?
I called the police. Oh.
You did?
Yes, to file a police report.
And I have 2 police reports made on the 5th.
Just a second.
I also have the police reports if you'd like to see them.
I would.
Okay.
At some point, you got an order of protection against Nicholas.
Yeah.
When was that?
I had spent 2 weeks in August to get my restraining order. Casey served him with a temporary restraining order August 31st. It said he was not allowed 300 feet within my home.
Tell me why.
Well, it started off with Kiana. She was accusing her boyfriend of doing drugs, which he had been to prison for before, methamphetamine. And they had multiple violent fights. He would hit her, pull her hair. She would hit him.
That is not true.
He was witness to it. His son was witness to it.
Tell me why you filed a protective order against him.
So he was, after you're going to do that, you need to leave. And he said it was about time for him to leave anyways, so I had given him his 30-day notice. But he had told me that if his girlfriend's in the home, he is allowed there whenever he wants. And I said, you can't be doing that. And if you're going to act like that, you both have to leave. And I've asked him before, you guys can't fight like this in my house. I'm a 4-H leader. I'm a nanny. I can't bring kids around when you're like this. They had damaged a window. And when I did not know about it, Kiana had come to me and said, me and Nick were fighting. I'm so sorry about the window. We'll get it fixed.
What did you do to the window?
It was actually...
So it had broken...
I want you to tell me.
It had broken on its own when I was trying to close it. Well, when he was trying to close it, actually. And I had brought it to Emily's attention that it had broken.
I want you to tell me how the window got broken.
I was trying to pull the window down. And
Why?
Because my cats go outside through the window, and I didn't want them to go outside, so I was closing the window.
I don't believe that. Put your hand down. I don't believe that. I want to tell you I don't believe it.
Okay.
You want to tell me how the window got broken?
I'm telling you the truth, Your Honor. Can he speak? He seems to have something to say.
Because I did most of the maintenance around the house. The whole entire house from the inside was damaged. The problem with the window is the slider that goes through it would jam up, so you cannot push the window down. So it takes like a lot of force to bind up. Finally, we just push it down, and then the metal bracket that slides the window down is what broke.
I also.
Oh, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did that?
Yes, ma'am.
You did it?
Yes.
Let me tell you something, Nicholas.
Yes, ma'am.
10 minutes ago, you said to me you haven't worked in 2 years because you're waiting for shoulder surgery on both of your shoulders.
Yes.
Now you're telling me that you needed an awful lot of strength to pull this window down. You were the one who pulled the window down, and you do all the maintenance around the house.
Yeah, lightly.
You want to tell me why you can't work?
I mean, honestly, I have...
No, I want you to be dishonest with me.
No.
I want you to look at this face, and I want you to be dishonest with me.
I've literally have tried to get jobs, and I've tried to do things around the house. Emily even knows. I've dislocated my shoulder multiple times just lifting things. It's just I try to go about my business and try to actually do things because I forget about my shoulders, and they dislocate. I've been to the hospital multiple times. I'm actually scheduled for surgery, everything.
If you can pull down a window and do maintenance around the house, you can wash dishes.
I actually did wash lots of dishes multiple times.
Where?
At her house.
For money, for pay, for work, to get your behind out of bed, to go to work. Do you understand?
I do, ma'am.
All right, good. Somebody who appears to be, at least at first blush, an intelligent woman who also works out of home. Did you file tax returns last year?
No, I did not.
Well, you worked last year. You say you work out of your house. How do you make money, the two of you? How do the two of you make money to pay your rent and support yourselves? You get where I'm going?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand where I'm going?
Yes, Your Honor.
Stupid isn't written over here. I've been in the legal system for a long time. You want to tell me how you make your money?
I have a job now.
You want to tell me how you made your money then?
Yes, selling glass online.
Is that how you supported yourself?
Yes.
Then why didn't you pay taxes?
I guess I wasn't aware I had to pay taxes.
How old are you?
21.
You get any grants? You get any welfare? You get any food subsidy?
I did get food stamps, yes.
What else?
That's all.
Oh, no, there's more here. There's more here. I just don't have time to go there. I really just don't have time to go there. So you get food stamps, and yet you have a computer and a laptop that you said was damaged, and a waterbed, and headboards, and a 60-inch television set.
That was actually bought for me.
There's no such word.
It was bought. My bad. Sorry.
Can I say something?
Let me tell you something. Do you know what I don't care about? I don't care about them. Are you getting my drift? I don't know what you're doing that some of your marijuana plants were ripped out when...
When her and her boyfriend and 5 other trucks pulled up on our property, threatening my boyfriend, telling him to leave. Yes, that did happen.
After the restraining order was served and he wasn't supposed to be there.
The restraining order wasn't properly...
It was. Officers notified him of it.
Unless you can tell me where you got the money to buy a computer, a laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
When was the last time you had a FTJ, full-time job?
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind?
Methamphetamines.
See where I was going? See where there's no stupid written over here?
And later today.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it.
Prior to November 3rd, when was the last time you had...
It was broke down for about a year.
1 year you had no insurance on the car.
I wasn't driving it.
I'm speaking.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Kiana Fisher says ex-landlord Emily Miller vandalized and stole her property. Emily is countersuing for damage to her home and harassment.
Now, unless you can tell laptop, a 60-inch television set, and all the other things that you're complaining about to the tune of $3,000, I'm not interested.
She used to work for VSP before.
I worked previously to doing my own business. I just quit, and I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I started doing my own thing online.
So so now you have no job and an unemployed boyfriend.
I do have a job.
So now you quit your job and you have an unemployed boyfriend.
No, she recently she was working at VSP, and then she quit her job to do the glass, and then she works at
Ameritech Financial.
Yeah, Ameritech Financial.
And I've been working there since August, and I work full time. And I got a job because I knew I needed
September.
Yes.
How old are you?
Almost 30, 29.
When was the last time you had a full-time job? FTJ, full-time job.
Before I went to prison.
How long were you in prison?
Over 2 years.
For what?
Selling drugs.
What kind?
Methamphetamines.
See where I was going? See where there's no stupid written over here?
I understand that, but I mean, when I got out of prison, I had no violations, no parole, no dirties, nothing.
Good for you.
Yes, thank you.
I have a counterclaim also. I have a counterclaim and all the pictures of the damages also. That was done to the house after they received their 30-day notice.
Now, I have claims that you destroyed their stuff, and I have claims that you destroyed their stuff. I want the name of the neighbor. Labor Day weekend, because I read your answer, that the plaintiff and the boyfriend were there moving stuff out for 4 days.
Yep, her name was Jeannie. She had written a letter, but I...
No. What's her last name?
Oh, I don't have her last name. But she wasn't able to come.
Don't tell me. Jean is a next-door neighbor in a private house.
Jeannie, yeah.
Get me her name and her phone number.
Okay. She had told me that while...
Don't tell me anything that she told you.
Okay.
I will call Jean.
So her phone number is 8710.
Now, Jean has no idea that I'm going to call. Do you understand? I'm old. I don't like to walk from here to here and do something that's unnecessary. If I call Jean, is Jean going to tell me that the two of you were at the house over Labor Day weekend moving stuff out of the house?
No, we did. We did not move anything out of the house over Labor Day weekend.
Okay. Is that what you tell me?
Oh, yeah.
Good.
There's a police report on it.
I don't understand what she's saying. We were moving stuff out of the house. What?
You were moving stuff out of the house after he was served a restraining order, which in the police report,
Okay, I'm sorry.
I notified you that you cannot have
Just a second.
At the home.
There over Labor Day weekend, moving stuff out in a truck.
Yes, I'm sorry. I thought when you said Labor Day, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about July 4th. Yes, she will say that. We were moving stuff.
Then your case is dismissed. Now let's get to your countersuit. I'll see the pictures.
And I have a bill of damages, and then the rest of it is because Nick had threatened my horses that I had on my property.
Listen, they're not there anymore, Miss Miller.
No, but I had to move them because of him.
That's a lie.
Listen to me.
A complete
Listen to me. I'm done with this case.
Okay.
So are you.
Okay.
You're done with them.
Yes.
You have a restraining order that was made permanent against Nicholas?
Yes.
It was?
Yep.
For how long?
I think until 2017.
Wonderful. Then we're done. Thank you. Bye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She had damaged and stolen my property, and she wanted to be passive-aggressive and evict us.
Well, there was drugs involved, and after I found out about it from his girlfriend, I told them both that they needed to leave.
My laptop was completely damaged, the screen was shattered, drenched in urine.
They had 4 cats in one bedroom, locked in there, so.
A 60-inch smart TV I put in specifically in my closet, and it was vanished.
I was pretty violent between them two.
We did get in verbal arguments, yes, I will admit to that, but it never got physical.
Look at your roommates. I learned it the hard way and thought it was done a long time ago.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Cardenas Carlson versus Taylor. Step forward.
18-year-old Alexis Cardenas and her mother, Kimberly Carlson, are suing motorist Jamie Taylor for an accident on the road.
Miss Cardenas, you were driving.
Yes, Your Honor.
You're her mother and you own the car. You weren't in the car.
Yes.
You can sit down. You and Miss Taylor were in a car accident.
Yes.
And you claim that it was Miss Taylor's fault. Your
Yes.
car was damaged. You want her to pay for the repair. Miss Taylor said the accident was your fault. She sold her car at a devalued price, and she has a counterclaim. When did this accident happen?
November 3rd, Your Honor.
Of this year?
Yes.
What kind of car were you driving?
A 1999 Toyota Solara.
And you?
A 2004 Volkswagen Passat.
At the time that you were driving your car, did you have insurance?
Yes.
At the time that you were driving your car on the 3rd of November, did you have insurance?
No.
That's why we're here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I was in the turning lane. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn, and my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Alexis Cardenas says fellow motorist Jamie Taylor is at fault for an accident on the road. Jamie is countersuing for the loss of her car's value.
Now, at the time that you were driving your car on the 3rd of November, did you have insurance?
No.
That's why we're here. Why were you driving the car without insurance?
We just got it running. It was broke down, and we just got the car fixed. And I ran across the street to AMPM and got a fender bender.
When was the last time you had insurance on the car?
I have it now. I had it.
Prior to November 3rd, when was the last time you had...
It was broke down for
Prior
about
to-
a year. Probably
1
about
year.
a year. Yeah. It was sat in my backyard, broke down for a while.
1 year you had no insurance on the car.
I
Was
wasn't
the car-
driving it.
I'm speaking. Was the car registered in the year 2016 in the state of... This happened in California?
Yes.
In the state of California, was it registered in the year 2016?
Yes.
So you paid for registration for the car in 2016?
My father did,
What?
yes.
I don't care who paid for it. I don't care who paid for it. Was the car registered in 2015?
Yes.
You want to go over to the map and tell me what happened in this accident?
All right. I was coming home from getting food for my family, and I am here. That's when the defendant pulled out in front of me, and I did not have enough time.
Is that a shopping?
This is the gas station.
Gas
This
station.
is the AMPM, yes. She had pulled out in front of me. I did not have enough time to stop, nor did I have room to swerve because there was a car.
So she was coming out of a gas station?
Yes.
You had the right-of-way. You were on a two-lane highway?
Yes.
Two-lane street?
Yes, this is a turning lane.
And you were driving in the left-hand lane?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. You can go back. That's yours. Go over. It looks like pretty much the same to me, right?
That's not how it happened, no. I can tell
Were
you.
you coming out of a gas station?
I had pulled out already.
That's okay. You were coming out of a gas
I was
station.
in the turning lane already.
There's no turning lane there.
Yes, there is. There's it goes like this. Can I show you? Is that okay? Maybe the map's wrong, but what you have here is there's a lane here to go right onto Highway 18.
Listen to me. That's not where you were.
No.
Just point out where you were.
This is a turning lane. I was in the turning lane, sitting there, right there. I was sitting there. There was cars here waiting to turn to go onto Highway 18. And my car, the rear end of it, I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Go ahead.
I was already sitting here waiting for the light to turn green.
Then you were over the yellow line.
Correct.
Can I see the bill to fix your car, please? After the accident, did she take off?
Yes, and I followed.
Did you fix your car yet?
No.
Can I see a picture of it?
Yes. I have multiple pictures.
Were you given a ticket for not having insurance?
For not providing insurance.
Were you
Yes,
giving a ticket? The
I
answer
was.
is yes. Judgment for the plaintiff, the amount of $2,500.
That's
We're
not
finished.
okay.
Thank you.
You didn't even hear my witness or anything.
We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
He was speeding, and I was already in the turning lane.
I had just turned around the corner. I was not speeding.
I never tried to run away from her.
I was alarmed that she had taken off and didn't even check to see if I was okay.
Her mom should have her slow down because she's going to hurt somebody the way she was driving.
I know my...
It was a mutual altercation.
It was started by somebody.
A new conflict between old friends.
Antoinette had texted me and cursed me out. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved in stuff.
And a run-in they'll never forget.
It was just like an attack. We ended up on the floor. She was over me, straddling me, grabbing me like this. Once I kind of realized what was going on, I started to fight back.
What injuries did you suffer?
I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident.
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Barnetta Anderson is suing her former friend, Antoinette Coleman, for a false restraining order and pain and suffering due to an assault.
Order. All rise. Now it's case number 302 on the calendar in the matter of Anderson versus Coleman.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, huh?
Miss Anderson, you and Miss Coleman used to be friends, and then sadly you had a falling out. Subsequent to the falling out on the 6th of November of last year, it is your claim that Miss Coleman assaulted you.
Yes.
Miss Coleman says it was a fight, but it was a...
Your Honor, can I start with how it happened, if that's okay with you?
Sure.
Okay, Your Honor, on June 13th, Antoinette and her cousins was on the phone. They was having an argument because Antoinette and her sister had slept with the...
No. We're not going to go back to talking about anybody else's bad business.
Yes.
Great.
Okay, well, Antoinette had texted me and cursed me out.
Is that the text message she sent you?
No,
I'd like
this is the text message, my reply, because I sent it to her witness and my witness because we were all hanging together. So I sent it to them so it wouldn't be any nonsense, my reply to her.
Just a second. I would like to see her text to you.
I don't have her text to me.
Do you have it?
No. This happened a year ago, Your Honor. I have the reply because it was saved in my witness's phone.
What good is the reply going to do to me if I didn't see her text?
Okay, because it was just telling her that I didn't have anything to do with her family business. Leave me out of it.
Fine. Do you remember getting that text that she didn't have anything to do with your family business?
Yes, Your Honor. Okay,
so that was a while ago. That was in June.
Yes.
And?
So after this time, I was getting threatening messages. I told them then and there, please.
No, not them.
Antoinette and Andrea, her witness.
These two?
Yes, and their other sister. Please stop contacting me. I will call the police. It stopped after like 3-4 days. So this was June. Going to November the 6th, I have not had any contact with them at all. And at this time, myself and my theater, we seen some family members, close friends that we knew. We stopped and we talked to them. As we were standing there talking to them, one of the other people that was in her group came up, and I spoke to her, and we were all just talking. At that time...
What was the name of that person?
Her name was Monica.
Was she with you that evening?
Yes.
Okay.
So she came in and came between us.
Who came between us?
Monica. She just came over, you know.
So far, I'm not seeing that you had any contact with her at all. So far, you were talking to some of your friends. Somebody that was with her group came up and talked to you. Where was she?
I didn't know at this time.
Okay, so you didn't know.
Yes. So I was facing the wall, so my back was against the crowd. Next thing I know personally, I woke up, I was laying on the ground. I have a videotape right here that
just tell me what happened.
Okay, I woke up. She was over me, straddling me, grabbing me like this. I heard her witness, Andrea Coleman, hollering, "Let them fight, let them fight." She was right at my head, and I've seen her. Andrea Coleman was at my head, and I seen her, and I thought she was attacking me also. So I immediately started to attack. Once I kind of realized what was going on, I started to fight back. That's when she bit my hand, and then a guy out the blue.
Who bit your hand?
Antoinette. And that's when a guy from the crowd came and grabbed her, trying to focus because I had just woke up and I'm trying to figure out these people I've known for over 20 years. My kids and Andrea's kids are cousins. I could never believe that they were attacking me just out the blue. So I'm standing there, and then immediately I just left. I didn't tell my witness or anybody what I was doing. I went next door, I called the police, and I have the police statement.
I'd like to see it.
Here you go.
Now, Ms. Coleman, I would like you to tell me your version of it, and then I'm going to see the video.
Okay, on November 6th, we was at the comedy show, and like she said, prior to that, we got into an altercation over the phone.
In June?
Yes, back in June. Barnetta is a busybody. She liked to be involved in stuff.
I didn't let her tell me because I didn't think that you wanted 10 million people to hear details of what the argument was about. Was I right about that?
Yeah, she was right.
Right. So I'm not going to let you tell me that she was a busybody.
Okay. So then at the Orpheum, how it's made, they have a downstairs and an upstairs. We were sitting downstairs, they were sitting upstairs. So we were coming out, they were coming down. So I seen Barnetta, but I proceeded to walk out of the Orpheum. Barnetta decided to follow me out of the Orpheum. So by then, all of these people is coming out of the Orpheum Theater. I get a few push from behind. I turn around, Barnetta Anderson is behind me. So I continue to walk out of the theater. But when we got to come out the theater, Barnetta stopped right along with me, behind me. So by then, I'm agitated because I already done got pushed by you. So then,
well, you don't know who pushed you.
Well, I turned around, Barnetta was behind me.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
By then, I had confronted Barnetta like, you know, why are you following me? At this point, all I remember is her pushing me back, and then it was just like an attack. And we ended up on the floor because my sister tried to come and grab me. But when she grabbed me, she fell back, I fell back. Barnetta fell on top of me. That's why Barnetta had scrapes to the knees, because she fell on top of me. I pushed Barnetta off of me. And when I pushed Barnetta off of me, that's when the tape shows me on top of Barnetta. Barnetta never blacked out. Barnetta fought back. It was a mutual altercation.
It was started by somebody. Did she get an order of protection against you?
We both had one.
No.
Yes, she did.
She did?
Yes.
She filed for protective order. Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
And was she granted a protective order?
Yes.
Did you file a protective order?
Yes.
Did you get a protective order?
They put a temporary, yes.
Not temporary. Did you ultimately get a protective order?
Yes.
Let me see it. For how long?
Until we actually had our hearing.
Did you have a hearing?
Yes.
Is my question. Now, what happened after the hearing?
After the hearing.
It was dismissed.
It was dismissed.
Correct. So she filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard that testimony because granted. After she filed for protective order, you filed for protective order. You had a hearing. Court heard your testimony. I assume you brought any witnesses that you wanted to.
No, my witness wasn't able to make it.
I suppose you brought any witness with all these people who were around who would have testified on your behalf. Court heard the testimony and dismissed your application for a protective order. Said you didn't need it. Didn't believe you. Now I'll see the tape.
Your Honor, we also have a voicemail also. Andrea Coleman, like maybe 10 minutes after the fight, when she talked about what had happened and I got what I deserved. And it's very vulgar. I don't know if you want to hear it here in court.
Oh, I love vulgarity.
Okay. As you can see in that tape, Your Honor, I'm not moving. That's me with my hands up, not moving. Andrea's at my head and Antoinette is on top of me. You see my legs is not moving at this time, Your Honor.
But your arms are?
Yeah, because you're shaking me.
Are you wearing the green sweater?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the guy pulling her off of me, Your Honor. And now he's exiting her out the door. We were never out.
No, he wasn't exiting me. Someone else was.
So you was outside the door again.
What injuries did you suffer?
Your Honor, I have the before and the after. I still have the scar on my forehead and also on my legs. I also have a medical. I went straight to the doctor. After I took those pictures in the ambulance and I went to the hospital, I had various injuries to my head where she pulled out my hair.
Are these stitches in your forehead?
No, that's actually a dent which I still have in my head from where I hit my head on something which made me pass out. I have a condition called Chiari malformation, which caused you to be dizzy and unstable. I had 2 brain surgeries after this incident. I would never attack her when I'm already dealing with instability.
I would like to hear the voice message. Did you call her?
Yes.
And she was there. She was the one standing at your head.
In my head.
Right. I'd like to hear her.
You have 2 saved messages. Saved message. At the end of the day, tell your
I can't hear that. I can't understand. You're going to have to... Nice. I'm done. Ms. Coleman, all I have to do is tell you this. You are defined by your language.
That's not even me on that phone call.
Who is it?
I don't know.
That's not you?
That is not me on that phone call.
She said she called Barnetta, not her.
That's somebody else's phone. Listen to the phone number. Ask Barnetta what's her phone number.
That was Andrea Coleman, and she also works at the hospital.
And?
So that's how she acts.
Okay, it's a relatively easy case for me. Court of competent jurisdiction has already heard your complaint against each other, found in favor of the plaintiff. I'm going to do the same. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $5,000. We're done.
Thank you.
Please are excused. You may step out.
Because Barnetta is a busybody and she likes to be in stuff that don't have nothing to do with her.
Well, actually, I'm very happy that she's seen the truth and knew that that was the truth.
Because she was speaking on things that didn't have nothing to do with her.
These women are very vicious, and
she threw the first blow.
By the voicemail you can hear, they're dangerous.
She got what she deserved.
Oh, yeah, I feel like, yeah, she should have to pay.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Rykuber versus Elliott. Step forward.
Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return's wedding.
Mr. and Mrs. Rykuber, you were planning your daughter's wedding.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that your only daughter?
Yes, it is.
And when was the wedding to take place?
March 14, 2015.
You went to a venue that was owned by the defendant.
Yes.
How did you find that venue?
My daughter and her fiance were driving by and saw, said, we'll take...
Okay. You could stand up and tell me, because your parents weren't with you. Tell me your first name.
Diana.
Diana, when did you see the venue?
We saw it in July, shortly after my fiance and I had just been engaged. And we thought the building was beautiful, and they had a sign out.
Do you have pictures of it?
We do.
I'd like to take a look at it.
There you go. We thought the building was beautiful, so we saw a sign out front saying that they hosted events.
It was a pretty building. It would make a nice courthouse, too.
Yes, it would.
Did you own this venue, Mr. Elliott?
I did not.
Who owned the venue?
Ron Smith.
He told us he owned it.
Don't speak.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
These are very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it, under new ownership. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
Real case. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, how do you know Ron Smith?
The sign out front had his name or number on it, and I called him. I was interested in purchasing the building. He's a contractor, and we actually had not entered into a contract, but we were in negotiations to purchase the building.
Who's we? And
I'm sorry, I was in negotiations to purchase it.
In what month and year?
I was to purchase the building after he had completed...
Just a second. Month and year that you began negotiations on the building?
I'm sorry, July of 2014.
And am I correct that there was never a formalized contract?
That is true.
Never a writing of any kind between you and Mr. Smith?
That is true.
So, for all intents and purposes, you have no connection with this building. You are not a rentor, you are not an owner, and he wasn't paying you to manage it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, there is a phone number here that's crossed out and written. Whose number is 316-86?
That's mine.
Your number.
Right.
And they're not good guessers, so they didn't pick this number at random. So I must assume that you crossed document and wrote in your own number.
No,
Somebody had to write it in, sir.
Somebody,
and these
but I don't
people
know that it was me.
Is that your cell phone?
It's my business phone. It's a cell phone.
Is your cell phone? Is that your cell phone? If I were to call that number, would it buzz in your pocket?
It does go to my cell phone.
Okay, so they're not good guessers. You crossed out the number and put in your own number.
I don't know that I crossed it out.
Yes, you did.
Unless I
Yes, you did. Crossed it out and you put in your number. Now, how much money did you take from the plaintiffs?
Approximately.
I don't want to know approximately.
$3,413, and that was the first half, a little bit less than the first half of the total wedding.
I didn't ask you for anything. Between July of 2014 and March of 2015, did you ever finalize in any way a negotiation with Ron Smith?
No, we did not.
Did not. Okay. Were you married at this chapel?
No, Your Honor.
Tell me, since you loved it, what happened?
Well, my fiance and I began making plans. We did have a couple of meetings with Ken Elliott and Marcy here, who was the wedding
With Mr.
planner.
Elliott?
Correct.
Now, did Mr. Elliott in these meetings ever hold himself out to be the owner of this?
Yes, he did.
Of course, otherwise you would say, why?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
There was no heat in the building.
There was heat in the
Kansas. So if I had any brains, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue and not risk people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janie and Gary Rykuber say Ken Elliott owes for the return of their deposit on a chapel for their daughter's wedding.
Now, he said he owned the premises.
Yes, he did.
Okay. Do you have any, other than your word, do you have any proof of that?
It says under new
May I
ownership.
see it?
With his name.
And his number on it.
Well, these are the very nice things that you had printed out with your cell phone number on it. Under new ownership, the Grand Chapel. But that's a lie.
It really wasn't.
No, it is a lie. You don't own it. You didn't own it when you printed these things. You don't own it now. And you clearly gave it to them. They didn't steal it out of your attaché case.
No, we did.
No.
We gave it to
Okay.
them. However,
I don't want to hear a however. Now, you loved the venue.
I did.
So why didn't you have your wedding there?
Because my fiance and I drove by the building, saw a neon sign on the door. We went up to the sign, read it, which we also have a picture of, a
I'd
photo
like to
of.
see the sign.
And it stated that the building had closed. And the reasoning was that there was a boiler that wasn't working.
Just a second.
And we had never
So this
been
is what you saw.
contacted.
Okay.
Correct.
And you saw this February 7th,
Yes.
2015, and your wedding was scheduled for a month later.
Correct.
Okay, so that got you worried.
Very disheartening.
That got you worried.
Yes.
So building has no heat, and they don't have enough money to put in heat, so they're doing fundraisers. They did a mystery dinner theater, but that didn't raise enough money. They're going to try to do another fundraiser, but they don't have a venue yet in order to get something.
we were not responsible for paying for those repairs or for the heat.
I don't care. There was no heat in the building.
There was
in
heat
Kansas.
in the building. There was heat in the building, and we
Please.
did get heat in the building.
Please, Mr. Elliott. Mr. Elliott, why in the world would you, I mean, are you a businessman? Clearly, you have some money. You have to have some money because otherwise you wouldn't be in negotiations with Ron Smith to buy this historic building. So why in the world would you put yourself in a position of not returning the $3,400 They didn't have the wedding there. There was good reason why they weren't sending out invitations to a building that at that point, a month before the wedding, and clearly these people have brains, I would say to myself, I've got to find an alternative venue for my wedding and not risk coming to March 14th and having people have to wear their mucklucks and their boots to the wedding. So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
So why wouldn't you just return their $3,400?
Because we repaired the boiler in the facility after that was printed up, and we did get heat in the building. Ron was working with me, and we did get the boiler fixed, and we did have heat.
Show me.
Your Honor.
Just a second. Show me.
That the boiler worked?
No, show me the paid bill for the repair of the boiler that either you paid or Ron paid. Show me the paid bill.
I don't have that.
$3,400. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very pleased because it was very hard planning a wedding without a venue.
If the problems would have been an issue for their wedding, absolutely. The problems, like the lack of heat, was fixed, and the other problems were not.
So we were trying to get to the end of it. He wouldn't even call us back.
Problems that would have impacted their wedding, so.
It was very disheartening, considering that he didn't even try reaching out to us.
They should have contacted me and said something.
To let us know that the building had closed and we didn't have a wedding venue.
I guess to be a little bit more careful in the future, I don't know.
I'm glad she had a beautiful wedding, and so it all turned out okay.
I find Miss Reeves in my living room.
Did you let her in?
She kind of like pushed away and...
This former girlfriend has a different take.
I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let you in?
Orlando.
But a foot chase and a 911 call say otherwise.
She's right here with me right now. Please get here.
So?
Judge Judy. You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. 20-year-old Orlando Hernandez is suing his ex-girlfriend, 20-year-old Montiel Reeves, for intentionally damaging his property and assault.
Order. Now it's case number 306 on the calendar in the matter of Hernandez versus Reeves.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks have a seat.
Miss Reeves, how long were you and Mr. Hernandez a couple?
About 4 years.
And during a period of that time, he was incarcerated?
Yes.
And while he was incarcerated, did you visit with him?
No.
When he came out of jail, did you renew your relationship?
No.
So he came out of prison when, Mr. Hernandez?
January 19th of 2014, actually. I was incarcerated in juvenile hall.
For how long?
Almost 6 months.
So it's been a long time since you had a relationship of any kind with Miss Reeves. And how old were you then?
I was 17.
And how old were you, Miss Reeves?
17.
Now, I want you to tell me, Mr. Hernandez, what happened on July 24th of this year?
Well, on July 24th, I was out walking my dog, and I had got a call from my friend here that Miss Reeves was at my doorstep looking for me.
Would you stand up, please? Tell me your name, sir.
Benny Ma.
Are you a neighbor?
Friend.
Were you at his house?
Yeah.
Were you staying at his house that day?
Yeah, because I usually go over there and play games with him.
And about what time was this that you called and said Miss Reeves was at the door?
I do not know per se. It was like around noonish time.
In the afternoon?
Yeah.
Where were you, Mr. Hernandez? Prior to July 24th, when had you last seen Miss Reeves?
I want to say about a month and a half or 2 months before, when she, again, rushed into my house.
What do you mean rushed into your house?
She came into my house again, uninvited.
Did you ever report her to the police?
Yes, I did. And I tried filing for a restraining order, and I was denied.
Before that, so let's say this was in July, you're talking about June, May, April, March. Did you have any social interaction with her at all?
none.
So you haven't been out with her on a date?
No.
Since you were 17?
Pretty much.
So you turned around, you got a call from your friend who was at your house, you turned around, you got back to your house with your dog. What kind of a dog do you have?
I have a dingo pit bull mix.
Got back to the house and?
I find Miss Reeves in my living room and...
Did you let her in?
Kind of. She kind of like pushed her way in.
Well, what does that mean? You said kind of.
Yeah, like...
Did you let her in?
No, she like pushed her way a little bit.
What is a little bit?
Like, I was like hesitant on letting her in, but then when she like just started pushing, I just like let her in.
And what did she do?
I just waited there and I called Orlando.
Did she tell you to call Orlando?
No, she said she was looking for him.
Did she say why?
No.
Why were you looking for him?
I was not looking for him.
What were you doing in his living room?
I wasn't in his living room.
Where
he
were
let
you?
me because I asked him for some money, and he agreed, and he let me in.
Who let you in?
Orlando.
Orlando is Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
So he let you in?
Yes.
Not his friend?
No.
Okay. So you hadn't actually seen him in a couple of months, is that right?
Yes.
Now, when you last saw him, did he call the police?
No.
Never called the police?
No.
You were never interviewed by the police?
No, just that day of that incident.
You mean on July 24th?
Yes.
Now, what did you call him for?
If he can lend me $20.
Why?
Because I was in need of some money at the time.
Well, you hadn't seen him in a very long time.
I haven't, but when he got out,
He got out in 2014.
Your Honor, he was let out 2015, January 2015.
Yes.
Not 2014.
Is that right?
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
2015. What did you need $20 for?
For my personal need.
No, tell me what you need $20 for.
To buy some snacks or anything
You needed
like
snacks?
That. Yeah.
What happened, Mr. Hernandez, when you got back with the dog?
Well, I proceeded to let her know that, you know, she's not wanted there. She needs to leave. At this point, she starts arguing back with me, and I immediately call the cops and get them on the line.
What do you do for a living, Miss Reeves?
I work at TJ Maxx.
And you, Mr. Hernandez?
I take care of my father.
What's wrong with him?
He's disabled.
Do you live with him, Mr. Hernandez?
Well, my dad, he gave up his apartment, and he's going to be moving into it. He's waiting to get certified for a brand new apartment before he moves in, so I told him, you know, he can stay with me, you know, until he gets his place.
So he stays with you?
Yes, at this moment, but during that time, he wasn't.
Are you paid as a caregiver for him?
Yes, I am.
By whom?
IHSS.
How much do you get?
About $1,400.
A what?
A month.
How old is your father?
He's 45.
What's the nature of his disability?
He's double below amputee.
Did he have a caregiver other than you before?
Yes, he has.
How long have you been his caregiver?
About June of 2015.
Did you finish your GED when you were incarcerated?
Yes, I graduated and I walked the stage March of, well, June 2nd of this year.
So tell me, now you turned around, came home, you found her in the living room.
Yeah.
You called the police,
yeah,
and they recorded the incident of what was going on in your house.
Yes.
Do you have something to show me?
Yes, I do. I have video of the assault and, excuse me, and everything that took place that day.
Because what you claim is Miss Reeves assaulted you?
Yes.
And in addition to assaulting you, she caused damage to your home.
Yes, she has.
I'd like to see.
I need assistance right now.
Okay, I cannot hear you with the yelling. Can you exit the apartment?
I told you it's 164. She just broke my headphones right now. Ma'am, I would expect you to track my location right now. You guys got technology like that. Record my location. She broke my headphones right now. She put her hands on me. Okay, I said my address is 2264. Get her now, please. She put her hands on me.
What is your last name?
Hernandez. She put her hands on me. Now she's slamming my door and doing damage to my apartment.
What is your date of birth?
My date of birth is 96. My friend's a witness. She threw this at me.
Today.
Well, she has weed on her, and she's breaking out my window right now.
Okay. Have you been drinking anything today?
She locked my door. She's breaking out my window. Minnie, call the cops. Hey, she's right here with me right now. Please get here. No. What? Your hands on me. Do that phone at me right now. Benny, call the cops and follow me. No, you just put your hands on me. You're on recording. Hey, Benny, call the cops. You guys need to get here now.
So?
I didn't destroy any of his property.
I don't believe the $20. Let's start with that. What were you doing in his apartment, Miss Reeves?
He agreed to give me money.
I don't believe you. You want to tell me what you were doing in the apartment?
He was going to give me money. He let me in. I did not force my way into his apartment.
When you saw him on the phone with the police, which I saw, where were you?
I was in the room.
What room?
His bedroom.
Okay. Now, I saw you walk through the corridor. That was you. Walking the end of the corridor. That was you. Why didn't you just leave?
He wouldn't let me leave out the door. I was in the room.
He was on the phone with the police. All he wanted you to do was get out.
He wasn't going to let me out.
How did you know that? He wasn't blocking the door.
Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know what he would do to me. So I just locked myself in the room and jumped out the window.
Now, you have pictures of the damage.
I have the police report of that day, too.
The headphones here?
Headphones, too. I'm going to take a look at the police report, and I would like to see the headphones.
Also, I have receipts. Police report? Yeah.
You weren't injured, were you?
She punched me.
You say she slapped you in the face.
No, I got hit right here on my lower jaw and my neck.
Did it require medical attention?
No, I was more concerned with my safety at the time.
You have a restraining order against the plaintiff?
Yes.
When did you get a restraining order against him?
December 29th, 2014.
2 years ago?
Yes.
Why?
It was ordered by the court. They thought I needed protection from him.
Why?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know? You had to have applied for a protective order.
I didn't. I was in Marjorie Mason at the time when he was locked up.
You were what?
I was in Marjorie Mason.
What is that?
It's like a house for women that have been domestic violence and stuff like that.
Well, who was the victim of domestic violence?
Me.
And who was the perpetrator of the domestic violence?
Him.
And that was in 2014. So he was 17, you were 17, and what did he do to you?
He lacerated my knee. He threw me in some glass.
You remember that?
Yes.
I have the medical record for that.
He admits that he did that. Then why did you go to his apartment? Because you needed money for snacks?
Yes.
That doesn't sound normal to me. Does it sound normal to you?
No.
Not to me either.
A moment.
He wanted to have sex with you, and then he would give you money. She looked back at the bedroom door, and she saw the roommate blocking the door.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
And later today,
You got the insurance check that he negotiated for $6,500. Because you're a smart lady, you already have $6,500 in your hand. And then he says you fired him and hired somebody else to do it cheaper.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged into his home, damaged his property, and assaulted him.
Now, how did these get broken?
I don't know. I didn't break him. I didn't destroy any of his property. I tried to leave. I tried to leave the scene.
Where was his roommate?
In the living room, playing the game.
What kind of game was he playing?
Fallout, something like that.
When did you first see his roommate?
Oh, I know him.
No, when did you see him that day?
When I was let in the house by Orlando.
And where was he?
Orlando was in the living room.
And where was his roommate?
In the living room.
And who opened the door and let you in?
Orlando.
How many bedrooms are there in that apartment?
2.
You went through the bedroom window of Mr. Hernandez's room playing games?
No, he was in the living room playing the game.
How did you know he was in the living room?
Because when I got there, he was there on the game.
And when you went into the bedroom, you assumed he was still in the living room?
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you what you told the police. Because after they interviewed him and you knew you were in trouble, you called the police. Because you figured you were in trouble. And you said that Mr. Hernandez let you into his apartment, and he told you to go to the bedroom and he would get her some money. You told the police when she walked into his bedroom, she looked behind her and saw Mr. Hernandez's roommate follow her and stand in the doorway. That's what you told the police. And Mr. Hernandez said to you he wanted to have sex with you and then he would give you money.
No.
And said she looked back at the bedroom door and she saw the roommate blocking the door by standing in the doorway with his arms against the door jamb. You forgot all about that.
They were both at the door.
That's not what you just told me a moment ago. You told me he was in the living room playing a game.
Yes, he went to the living room. Before anything started, he was in the living room.
I didn't ask you when everything started. I asked you where he was. You said he was in the living room.
Yes,
you didn't tell me that he was blocking the door by crossing his arms, not letting you out of the bedroom.
Before anything happened, he was in the living room.
She said she pushed Mr. Hernandez and told him that was... She said she pushed past Mr. Hernandez and his roommate with minimal force and left the apartment to call the police. You just told me you went out through the window.
I did go through
That's not what you told the police. That's not what you told the police. You told them you pushed past the bedroom door, pushed past both of them with minimal force, and left the apartment to call the police.
Through the window.
Yeah, okay, good.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
I want to see the bill or your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for him.
Miss Burkett, let us understand each other.
Okay.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Orlando Hernandez says ex-girlfriend Montiel Reeves barged into his home, damaged his property, and assaulted him.
Okay, can I see the damage to the window? And how much were these?
Those are $411 after.
What?
Those were $379, $411 after tax.
Okay. Now, you have out-of-pocket damages of $456. That includes the screen that was fixed.
Yes.
And the headphones.
Yes.
You're suing her also for an assault.
Yes, I am.
And I'm telling you that I'm going to award you another $500 for the assault.
Okay.
$956. Judgment for the plaintiff. We're done.
Okay.
Leave him alone.
Excuse me, step out. You know, I'm happy. I'm happy the way things came out.
I don't have nothing to say.
She wasn't invited. I knew nothing about that. She came on her own will.
I don't have nothing to say.
Well, judging on the last time she had came to my place, she wanted to throw herself on me for some money.
I want him to leave me alone.
Well, I hope she leaves me alone, you know, and get on with her life because, I mean, I've since made my life a lot better than what it was.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Burkett versus Menino. Step forward.
Tanika Burkett is suing contractor Joseph Menino for the return of her deposit on work he never performed.
Miss Burkett, you had a problem with one of your bathrooms, and allegedly you retained the defendant to do the work on the bathroom.
Yes, ma'am.
He came up with an estimate for the job, which was how much, sir?
It totaled out to be $6,500.
It was that $6,500 figure arrived at with her insurance company, to do whatever work. She gave you a $2,500 deposit.
Correct.
That's what you're suing for back? You say he didn't do the job, you got somebody else to do it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you're going to tell me why you got somebody else to do it. I want to see the bill from the other contracting company who actually did the job. I want to see the paid bill or your check to the contracting company who ultimately finished the job. May I see it, please?
We're still working on the job.
Well, then you brought your suit prematurely. I'm not giving you your money back. You got $6,500. I don't know how much you paid to have the job done.
Well, they're still working on the job because it took a long time for him.
Miss Burkett,
Miss
Burkett, let us understand each other.
Okay.
Until I have proof of what it cost you to fix the bathroom with a paid bill and your check, you're not getting any money back from the defendant. I'm going to tell you why.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, what he says is that you got the insurance check that he negotiated for $6,500, which he probably padded, and somebody else to do it cheaper. So I have to find out how much the other company is charging you to do the bathroom. And it's disingenuous of you to say to me, they're still working on it, because you would have had an estimate from them. Nobody pays hourly and materials. You would have gotten a full estimate. This is what I will charge you to do the bathroom. because you're a smart lady. You already have $6,500 in your hand.
He didn't even give me an estimate. He never wrote me up an estimate.
Listen to me. He doesn't have to give you an estimate because at the time, you didn't have any money coming out of your pocket. Listen, the arrangement you had, as long as the money wasn't coming out of your pocket, said you make the arrangements with the insurance company. Well, now you have $6,500 in your bank account, which is what he negotiated with the insurance company for his fee, and then you fired him. Now, if you got a contractor to do the job for $4,000 in the bathroom, that means that you're pocketing $2,500. And in addition to pocketing the $2,500, you want more money from him. So I'm not hearing your case until I see a paid bill and your check to a plumber or contractor who did your bathroom. Do you understand? Without prejudice. We're done here.
Wow.
Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
I had to have someone else come out and do the work because I can't afford to hire another contractor because he took money from me.
I don't really know. I invested a lot of time. I disagree with what she says.
No, he was lazy, and then he didn't show up half the time.
I would disagree with that, too. We went shopping like 3 different times.
Because he basically stole $2,500 from me. I gave him a check for $2,500.
We redesigned things 3 different times.
To do the bathroom, he never showed up to do the work.
I worked at the house.
And then I think that he was on drugs and stuff.
I would have to deny that, you know. I don't know where that comes from.
Don't call Joe.
Be a little careful, right? Yeah, and get your contractor's name on the check from the insurance company.
You hit a brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
A driver wishing it would all go away.
But you gave her a phony number when she wrote down your number.
No, I did not.
Oh, yes, you did.
But this crash victim wouldn't let it go.
She came to my house and she actually rang my doorbell.
Because she wanted her money. You're suing her for harassing you. So let's understand what the ground rules are here.
You are about to enter the courtroom of Judge Judith Scheindlin. This is Judge Judy. Velvet Polk is suing Jeanette Wilson for vandalizing her car and harassment.
Order. All rise. It's case number 305 on the calendar, the matter of Polk versus Wilson.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat.
Ms. Polk, I read the complaint and the answer and the counterclaim in this case. And what I'm getting from both of you is that you were involved in an automobile accident with the defendant.
Yes.
It appears that the accident was your fault.
Yes.
The defendant was driving a brand new car. She had gotten it a day or so before, correct?
Yes.
And it had insurance on it, correct?
Yes.
After the accident, which took place in a parking lot?
Yes.
After the accident, the defendant went to the police station. You were supposed to follow her.
No.
Yes.
Just a second. Had you exchanged information?
Yes, I gave her my name.
You gave her your name?
My name and my number, yes.
Name and phone number.
Yes.
Did you give her your insurance card?
I did not give her my insurance card. My insurance card came out with my valid driver's license. She thought I had insurance, but I told her I hadn't paid my insurance bill.
Your car that was uninsured.
Yes.
That's the problem. Now, she used her insurance to fix her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible. That was your responsibility. Let's get the facts of this case straight out, because I have a feeling you're not processing what this is all about, because you're suing her for harassing you.
Yes.
Because she wanted her money.
Yes.
Other than that, she wouldn't have called you. She wouldn't have called you 100 times or 50 times. She wanted her money because you were driving around, you hit her brand new car, you had no insurance, and you were dodging her.
I was not dodging her.
Absolutely. Did you give her $1,000?
No.
Well, she's going to get it today.
Okay.
So let's understand what the ground rules are here. Your allegation is that Miss Wilson vandalized your car.
Yes.
And the accident to her car that you caused happened on what date?
It happened on May 13th.
Now, she had your name
Yes.
and telephone number. Did you ever speak to her on the phone?
Well, she didn't. She claimed she didn't. I didn't give her she didn't write down the right number at first, so she called Progressive, and Progressive was calling me, and I told Progressive to give her my right phone number.
So not only did you give her no insurance card because you didn't have one, but oh yes you did. Oh yes you did.
I didn't give her a phony number. That's why I told Progressive to give her the actual phone number.
That was only because you got called by what you considered an authority.
Well, no, she
But at the street, when you asked her for your name, you gave her your name, didn't give her your license, didn't give her registration for the car, didn't give her anything, and you gave her a telephone number that turned out to be wrong.
Because she wrote it down wrong.
No. She's driving a brand new car that you just hit in an accident that was your fault. I guarantee you Miss Wilson did not write down the number wrong, because that doesn't make sense. What makes sense is that you were smarty pants and gave her the wrong number and figured she would go away. Well, she didn't go away. Now, on what date do you claim she vandalized your car?
May 17th.
I'd like to see a police report.
Your Honor, I have a copy of the police report, too.
Just a second. I'd like to see it. Is it the same report?
It's not dated the 17th.
Okay, I'd like to see what you have. Well, first of all, this says that this happened on July 7th.
That police report says it happened on October 5th.
This report says it happened on July. And this says it happened on October 5th.
That's the date when I got the actual police reports. That's the incident when I called, when she came out to my house.
It says date, 7/7, description, scratches passenger door, 3-car tires. And this says the occurrence was from October 5th. Actually, it says the occurrence date was on October 5th.
And there's a narrative, too, Your Honor.
Okay, so now I'm going to read what the narrative is. The victim, that would be you, says, on May 17th, upon arising, I spoke to the victim, Violet Polk, who stated that sometime between 22:30 hours on Monday the 16th and 800 hours on the 17th, an unknown suspect damaged her 2012 Dodge Charger by slashing tires and putting scratches on the driver's side, passenger side.
Yes.
So your car was vandalized.
Yes.
And?
Well, I said it was...
Don't raise your hand.
Well, because when I was talking to her the day before and we was back and forth in arguments, she was...
What were you arguing about?
Saying that she wanted the money damages to her car. She found out where I stayed at and she was going to come to my house.
Why didn't you say to her, I'm sorry, I didn't have insurance. Can I...
Yes, I did tell her.
No, you didn't.
I have it.
Absolutely
yes,
not.
I do. I have it in Texas where I told her because when the accident, when I got out, it was some minor scratches, and I told her that if she didn't, she said she knew somebody. I said I knew somebody as well, and we said it would be no more than a few $100s. I looked at the car. She never got out of her car. She never once got out of her car. She never called the police or anything. But I have it in Texas. We discussed a few $100s. I sent her a text to her phone, and I said, you got greedy. I told her, I said, you got greedy, and then you went and got estimates. I sent her a text.
Just a second.
Your Honor?
Her insurance, which she had, fixed her car, but she had a $1,000 deductible. I am certain that you have the bill from me with the $1,000 deductible.
Yes.
Get it out, and Officer Byrd will take it.
Your Honor,
Just a second. You reported an unknown person vandalized your car. Connect the defendant with that unknown person who vandalized your car. Connect it.
I have voicemails where she has threatened me, saying that she have came to my house and know where I stayed at.
Okay.
And she have looked me up on the internet.
I know where she stayed.
Just a second. So, connect her with the vandalism to your car.
You want me to show you the app? You want me to show you?
No, I want you to connect her to the van. They can help you. Neither one of you witnessed her vandalizing the car. No way.
Your Honor,
there was
way.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
No, just a second. No way, because this police report was the next.
There's three different incidents. There's three different times that she came. My car was vandalized.
Voicemails, text messages, and everything.
Don't speak.
Sorry.
Your Honor, I never
Don't
seen
speak.
these ladies before in my life.
Just a second.
Sorry, Your Honor, there are three different incidents. There's a tire being slashed. There's when she came to my house on October 4th, and she actually rung my doorbell.
In October? You mean you hadn't paid her by October?
No, I didn't pay. I hadn't paid her because my tires was getting slashed. I was trying to get a lawyer to file bankruptcy, but my tires had been slashed. Once I was trying to get the money, my tires was getting slashed. My car was steady being vandalized. I seen her vandalize my car.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, on the
Just a second. Show me your police police report. I just want to see. So far, I've read a police report that says unknown suspect.
Here you go.
Now,
These are the other two police reports.
Fine. I'm going to take a look at them.
I have pictures.
Your Honor, give her the text.
I don't want to.
Okay. I have my pictures. I have my voicemails. I have the text messages. I have everything.
All he admits vandalizing your car.
Can you hear the voicemail where she threatens her, Your Honor?
No.
Oh.
And don't shout out again, I'll put you out. Were you ever contacted by the police about any vandalism?
No, ma'am. I even went to the police department to get a copy of the fake police report she wrote on me.
Now go. Out.
If you read the narrative, Judge Judy, on the police report I gave you, I have something to contradict what she's saying.
All I know is she called the police. She said you would come to her house, and she saw you pass by her car on that date and do something to her car. And when she went out to look at her car, and that was on
October 4th. She came 2 nights in a row, October 4th and the 5th.
Just a second. This was on October 3rd, is what the report says.
October 3rd.
Oh, well, so it wasn't the 4th or the 5th. It was October 3rd.
Okay, October 3rd and October 4th, because she came 2 days in a row.
But the police report that I have, Your Honor, says October 5th.
May I see it?
I gave it to you.
Oh, that one says the 5th.
Can I tell you why it says the 5th?
But look at read the narrative, Your Honor.
Because on the night of the 4th, it was at 11 o'clock. So when they came out and actually called my phone, I went to sleep. They thought when I was taking my daughter to school at 7, I called them back, which was the next day.
So what were you taking your daughter to school in?
On a flat tire.
What were you taking your daughter to school in? In your car?
Yes.
And who insures your car now? Give me the name of the company that insures your car.
Acceptance.
We're going to stop here right now, and you're going to go outside and get me a copy of your updated insurance to show me that your car is currently insured.
Okay.
Great. We'll be back.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Why was your license suspended in July?
And later today.
So far, we're not in a good situation, you and I, because you started out by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Because so far, you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Velvet Polk says Jeanette Wilson vandalized her car and harassed her. Jeanette is countersuing for car damage, a false police report, and emotional distress.
Now, I'll take a look at it. So this accident happened in May, and you finally got insurance in July.
Yes.
Now I'll hear you.
I've never heard of an insurance company insuring somebody with suspended license. I contacted the Ohio Bureau of Motor Vehicles and told them what happened. They sent
Don't tell me. Just let me see what they sent you.
If your license are suspended, nobody's going to insure you.
Your license was suspended on July 22nd, 2016. Your insurance was effective July 9th. Why was your license suspended in July?
Well, that's because I hadn't made arrangements to pay her. So they said once I had made arrangements to pay, because whatever her insurance had called the BMV and had got my license insurance, they had sent me
Do you
something.
have a license? Was your license reinstated?
No, but they gave me my license back.
Was your license reinstated?
No, my license has not been reinstated yet.
So what were you doing driving your daughter to school in October?
Because she didn't have a way to school.
Your case is dismissed. Judgment for the defendant on her counterclaim for $1,000. We're done.
Can I say something, Judge?
Your case is dismissed.
Okay.
You do the wrong thing. When you do the wrong thing, you don't come to court and ask for their help. Let me tell you what you did. You drove a car without insurance. I don't know why you didn't have insurance. You finally got insurance 2 months after. I don't know why they suspended your license, but they suspended it in July. And you still continue to drive. You don't get rewarded by courts for that. Do you understand? And you gave her a wrong phone number, I mean, I understand everything that you did, but then don't come to court and say, poor me, I'm a victim.
Judge, I did not give her the wrong phone.
Judgment on the counterclaim for $1,000. We're done.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I admit that what I did was an accident.
She hit my car.
But what she did was intentionally her coming to my house.
No, I did not.
Threatening me, came to my house several times, damaged my car.
No.
I don't know why the police didn't arrest her.
To drive with insurance.
No, it has not been fixed.
And a driver's license.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter, Brown versus Thomas. Step forward.
Charles Brown is suing his ex-girlfriend, Victoria Thomas, for a stolen laptop.
Mr. Brown, Miss Thomas used to be your girlfriend. This lawsuit is about a laptop.
Yes, ma'am.
A laptop that you claim Miss Thomas took with her when the two of you separated and she left.
Yes, ma'am.
And you acknowledge that she purchased it, but your claim is that you gave her $400 in addition to the money that she owed in rent to make up for the cost of the laptop. It was yours.
Right.
Miss Thomas, a bit with you, Miss Thomas. When did you move in with Mr. Brown?
I never stayed with Mr. Brown.
Well, you did stay with him because he gave you a key to his apartment. That's what you said in your answer.
Yes, Your Honor.
So that you did stay with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so let's not play.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
I read what I read.
Okay.
Fine.
So,
when?
The month of June.
June what?
I don't know the exact date, but the month of June,
Well,
I stayed with him.
you had been living with your family before.
Yes, Your Honor. So I stayed with him the month of June.
And they asked you to leave, or you decided to leave on your own?
He asked me to move with him, Your Honor.
Okay, so now he asked you to move in with him.
But I stayed with him only the month of June.
Were you working at the time?
No, Your Honor.
So far, we're not in a good situation, you and I, because you started out by not telling me the truth.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him? I had moved back home. We were on and off because he was head of infidelity. That's what I'm trying to, I don't understand that.
Oh, you understand me just fine.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Charles Brown says ex-girlfriend Victoria Thomas stole his laptop.
Now, how much was the laptop and when did you buy it?
I bought the laptop in 26.
On what date does it say it was purchased?
It says it was charged on July 27th.
July 27th.
July 26th.
We're still not doing well here, you and I. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Okay.
Now, when you moved in with Mr. Brown, you took your property from your parents' house?
Not all my property. I still have property at my parents' house.
What property did you take with you? Be very careful.
Yes, Your Honor.
What were you doing when you were living with your parents?
Looking for a job.
Had you gone to school?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
What school?
Virginia College for respiratory therapy. And I'm also in the Army Reserve.
When did you last go to college? When was the last day you attended school?
April 2016.
You had a laptop when you were in college.
No, Your Honor, I didn't.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
I didn't have a laptop.
I don't believe you.
I understand that.
Yeah, because so far you've lied to me 4 or 5 times in a span of 5 minutes.
I'm not trying to lie to you, Your Honor.
Well, but you did.
Yes,
you understand you did when you first started. I said, when did you move in with him? You said, I never moved in with him.
I have a question. If he gives me a key and I only stay there 3 days a week, does that mean I moved in with him if all my belongings are not there?
Fine.
Okay.
How many years did you go to college?
2.
You had a laptop. Who paid your tuition?
The military, Your Honor.
Did you also get paid from the military?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you lived at home?
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. You had a computer.
I didn't have a computer.
Oh, yes, you did. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, you did. Military paid for your education. Military probably paid for a computer. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Have you been cheated? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. Now, when did you give her the $400? On what date?
I gave it to her like in pieces. The last $200 I gave her was on August the 19th, the day before she stole the laptop. I was at the barbershop getting a haircut. She pulled up. She was like, "Well, I need," cause we weren't together no more. So I was trying to.
When did you separate?
August
And you say you separated in August. Is that when she moved out of your apartment?
Yes, ma'am.
Beginning of August, middle of August, end of August?
It's beginning of August.
Your Honor, that's a lie. I haven't been in his apartment since July because I had caught him sleeping with his other baby mama. So I haven't been in his apartment.
Say right in your answer that in July you got a security job and I needed to carry a gun for work. I'm licensed to carry and was saving for a gun when he offered to loan me his. Around the same time, I purchased a laptop. That was in July. That's what you just swore to. You just told me a minute ago you only lived there in June.
But what I'm saying is I had moved back home. We were on and off because he was had of infidelity. He was sleeping with his baby mother.
How much did you give her for the laptop?
$400.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $400. We're done.
Please excuse, you may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
You came over there, you was waving that gun, and go bust your across the head. That's what happened.
No, I wasn't waving it around. I was returning his gun, which he's a felon, by the way.
You came over there, you weren't returning a gun, first of all, because I never gave you a gun.
A felon, so he's not supposed to have a gun.
I'm not supposed to have a gun, exactly.
He called me over there to bring the gun, and that's when I got hit in the mouth.
You came over there, how can you get hit when you got a gun in your hand?
Because he set me up to get hit in the mouth and I have a permanent scar, but...
You got the gun in your hand, and you talking about I set you up to get hit, which I took you to the hospital that night, Victoria.
By his ex-girlfriend.
She could say anything.
Because I was arguing with him.
I'm going to put a restraining order on her.